3, 2, 1.
How about that? You guys hear me now? Hello? I go do all this shit and forget to switch it over to the right microphone. Can you guys hear me now? We got audio, camera looking good, everything okay. Still no audio? What is the deal? Good now. Okay. All right. Thanks. Woo, that was freaking me out for a second. I was like, what the fuck? Well, let's start this shit over again, shall we? Happy 3rd. Happy 4th. Happy 250th birthday, America. Glad that everybody can hear me now. Everything's all good. I got Young in the house. I got Bobby in the house. Guess who else we got with us in here? Going to be hanging out, chilling, and smoking with us tonight.
Oh, my fellow cigar lovers and addicts. Happy 4th of July and a gigantic happy birthday.
Old Simon will be here with us, hanging out too. So let's see. So Young said he's lighting. That badass GQ Maduro. Right on, dude. So that is a local guy, a local cigar maker that lives up in St. Joe, Missouri. He's about an hour north of here. Really cool dude, and makes some really really good sticks. And I've had those, and I really like that Maduro. I hope you enjoy it, brother. It should be pretty sweet. I'm hoping anyway. Bobby, I have not seen your emails, brother. Are you? Let me type this in here. Are you sending it to this email with the IES? Maybe I need to just check my spam. I don't know. Let me look here and see, because I haven't seen anything come in from you, brother. And I know you've been trying to get with me. Let's see, spam. There you are. Okay. I don't know why you're going to my spam, Bobby. Okay. Yep. Okay, good. And there's your address, your Arizona address. So that's cool. Yeah, I just had to check the spam. I don't know. I'll have to make sure and switch that off so you'll be able to you know, send me emails back and forth and whatever. What are you smoking on tonight, Bobby? Anything special? You got any special stogies for tomorrow that you guys are going to smoke on? I got tonight. I was lucky enough to get my hands on one of the Perez Carrillo Pledge of Allegiance. This is the last sumbitch that they had, and I snagged onto that. And then for backup tonight, of course, I've got the old CAO 250th America. Should be a couple of good sticks to smoke on tonight. And I've got some goodies lined up for tomorrow. Simon, what are you smoking on tonight, dude?
Tonight's lineup for me, starting out, is going to be just a good old American Puro.
Think he's smoking on that JC Newman Americana is what he's got going on for tonight. And man, what a day, what a week. Happy birthday, America. I'm so glad that you all could come and join us. Oh, I know, dude. I was looking forward to that freaking JC Newman. And yeah, dude, I can't believe it's still sitting in Kansas. You know what I mean? That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Hey, doctor. Welcome, Rise and Grind. Glad you could make it to the show, brother. Gonna be a good night tonight. Just chilling. I got a couple of good sticks that I'm really looking forward to, and just hanging out with you guys tonight and relaxing and enjoying some of these fine cigars. I really kind of been looking forward to this Pledge of Allegiance. I had one last year, and it was really good. So I'm hoping that this one is, and it's that Carrillo box press. I don't think there's too many companies that do a box press any better than EP Carrillo. Put a nice little V cut on that baby. Yeah, happy 4th, Marvin. I hope you got right on. Yeah, dude, it's hard to not smoke some opuses. In fact, that's my lineup for tomorrow. In fact, I've got a red, white, and blue lineup for tomorrow. I'll share with you guys. Man, that's good. That's real good. Right off the bat. So here's my red, white, and blue lineup to celebrate 250 tomorrow. So I've got the Forbidden Magistral 13 for my red. For my white, I have the Fuente y Padron Legends. that I've been really looking forward to smoking this some bitch. And what better way to burn off a $180 stick than fucking America's 250th birthday. And then to finish off the day with the blue, I'm going to go with the Opus Society. So going to be some serious red, white, and blue Fuente shit tomorrow, man. Bobby's smoking a 1502 Exo Salomon. Right on. Nice. Yeah, it's a good, holidays, everybody's like, oh, save your cigars for a special occasion and this, that, and another. Well, it doesn't get much better than tomorrow for a special occasion. You know what I mean? That's for sure, especially, you know, in this country, as batshit as everybody goes for 4th of July and burning up shit. Well, my neighbors, they probably got a couple grand worth of stuff they're going to burn up and whatever. And I'm going to burn, I'm just planning on burning up about $300 worth of cigars tomorrow. So, but I've been waiting for them, Yeah, I haven't tried that. Hopefully it's really good for you guys. I know, and I'm just, I'm cooking tomorrow. Just gonna do me a freaking reverse seared fucking tri-tip tomorrow, and some asparagus, and I got some good old peaches and cream corn from a buddy of mine that grows out in Atherton, and gonna have some homemade rolls and some pecan pie, and then just kind of hang out, chill out, and watch my neighbors blow up some shit. It'll be a good day. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to having a little time off of work, spending some time with family, and just not having a whole hell of a lot of shit to have to do, And then Sunday, I don't have to do anything. I just I think we're going to plan on watching that last episode of Dutton Ranch and just chill out, watching some TV and just sit in the AC because it is freaking hot. I mean, it's been brutal. We've been in heat warnings all freaking week here in Kansas City. I mean, it's been pretty bad. Got some chicken wings marinating. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I almost got some ribeyes today, man. They had some freaking Wagyu tomahawks, but I just was like, just couldn't pull the trigger on that. Had some good looking tri-tip, and I was like, it was pretty marbled, and oh, me too, brother. I mean, I'm such a huge fan of Yellowstone. I've probably watched that at least 4 times, and this new Dutton Ranch, and I'm this is the season finale for season 1, so it's going to be, I think it's going to be epic. We're going to probably see some serious shit, and it, just like all of them, it's going to be a cliffhanger. You know what I mean? They're going to leave some kind of cliffhanger going on to roll it over, because there's going to be more than just this one season. That's for damn sure. Man, this is really good. I love the Casa Carrillo stuff, man. Just love it. Killing them. Oh, I know, dude. I mean, just the whole freaking herd, and, it's kind of like, some flashbacks of some, mass grave stuff that I've seen, from history and whatnot, and it's like, oh my God, dude, and they had such a good, genetics and such a good herd and just, amazing. And it just all had to go away. Just, oh God, it just killed me to watch him just get that bulldozer out. Fucking sucked, dude, wouldn't it? Damn. Ooh, nice. 73 degrees. Well, enjoy that. That's definitely shit. I'd kill for 73 degrees right now because it is freaking it's been hot, it's been humid. I mean, our humidity's been up in like 70%, so it's been pretty shitty. But I don't know. Speaking of EP Carrillo, this week Stogie Stash. So I got me a couple of those deep blues, those Carrillo deep blues, and smoked them and just fell in love with them. And they were fucking going lickety split. But you know me and pulling the fucking rabbit out of my hat. So I was able to pick me up a box of the Carrillo deep blues, and I've already smoked a bunch and I've sent a bunch of them out. But just look at that gorgeous box, pretty box, amazing freaking cigars. Got the little push button thing, and these are the Hades Vitola, the 6x56. They call it the Hades, and it's also got the freaking little, Carrillo. What do they call it? Yeah, the little dog tag, the little thing that comes with it. Just a really nice box, really amazing cigars. It's like I said, this reminds me a lot of that Battleborn box that they had, and was really glad to pick those up this week because I've been smoking through them. They're really that good, and yeah, right on. That's why I had to send you one, Doctor, because I was like, this cigar is freaking amazing, and it's just got such a unique flavor and just tastes so good. I was just like, shit, I gotta get some of these out to my people, man, because this is fucking too good to keep it to myself. You know what I mean? For real. And then I did finally get my 5-pack of my Johnny Tobacco Maduro Robustos this week. I haven't tried those yet. Yeah, one of the things with getting and shipping cigars this time of year, it's friggin' hot. It's hot in them warehouses. It's hot in them damn trucks, and it's like, whenever I get a box of something in the mail or whatever this time of year, it just goes right on the kitchen table, and I don't even open it up for 24 hours. Just let that thing cool down, acclimate, because it's usually, hell, just bringing it in out of the mailbox is hot as shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I can't wait for you to try that. In fact, maybe one night, I can have you on my show, or I can come on your show, and we can both smoke that cigar whenever you're ready and just share it with people, because it's it's that good, man. I really, really dig it. Really digging this too. So other news this week, we got Libby all moved out, and I'm actually shooting in my new studio. I got some exciting new things going on. A very comfortable shooting space that's just permanently there. I don't have to move a bunch of shit around anymore. I'll be sharing a lot of that with you as I get it more set up and get it more built. And I got some exciting things going on with my cigar storage. I had some ideas as to what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it, and what it was going to cost, and all that kind of stuff. And I really think I hit one out of the park with this idea that I got coming up. And I got to get everything prepped and ready before I share it with you guys. But I don't think I've ever seen anybody do this, and I think it's going to work out really well, and it's going to save me a shit ton of money to the point where I'll have that cash to throw at more cigars. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping to get that put together in the next couple of weeks to share with you guys. And I didn't have to worry about, spending a bunch of money on fireworks. My neighbors across the street, Jesus, he's got family in from 3 states, and I've been watching them, man. They've been over there just freaking unloading, truckloads and truckloads of freaking big giant Godfather boxes and all these freaking deals. So it's going to be cool just to sit back and smoke my opuses and watch somebody else blow their shit up, for a change. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. I just hope that hope I can stand the heat. That's the only thing that is going to be bugging me a little bit. Is just it's going to be so damn hot that I'll probably wait till evening. I'll go out and cook, and then wait till they actually get to blowing shit up, and then I'll head on out there and do some stuff. But I've been kind of kicking back this week and going through some of my stuff, setting up a new computer, and I've got my son gave me his old tower, so I've been setting it up as a server and media server. But I've just been going through finding old stuff and finding a bunch of clips and everything, and movies that I've got. And so I've just been kind of going through, picking out some stuff that I wanted to share with you guys. I've got some cigar scenes from the screen. Some of my favorite little tips and tidbits of movies and shit that I've watched. It's got people smoking in it, or has some cigar stuff in there. So I kind of wanted to share some of this with you, and then kind of go back. It's 250 years in America. Go back to some of the older stuff from when I was younger, and some of the first people that I ever seen smoking cigars, like the Marx Brothers.
Here, have a cigar. That's a good quarter cigar. I smoked the other 3/4 myself. That's the good, all right. That's the fine. That's the good.
Now that torch kind of reminds me of my lightsaber torch that I got. You know what I'm saying? I remember watching that movie, and I was like, damn, he's going to burn that guy's face off and shit, But, so yeah, going through, from stuff like that, and, remembering one of my other favorite cigar smoking characters growing up from this TV show.
Hannibal, I don't like cigar smoke. I'm trying to be nice. So why don't you put the thing out?
B.A., I think better when I'm smoking.
Yeah, well, let him smoke the cigar, I'll B.A.
I like it down here. I'd rather eat my cigar.
Hey, you guys need a tow truck?
Yeah. Nice.
Nice. Love me some A-Team, man. Yeah. Oh yeah, George Burns. Definitely got What do we got from George Burns here? I know I pulled up a video. It was actually a commercial. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Let's see. Where's it at? There we go.
Mildness. Try El Producto's Tall Stylish Alta. Buy 5 in the handy folder pack.
The Consolidated Cigar Corporation, makers of El Producto, the cigar of natural mildness.
Here's George Burns for El Producto cigars.
Oh, Mr. Burns, my first movie premiere.
I'll never forget my first picture. A comedy.
Oh, was it a silent movie?
No, the audience was silent. But why spoil the evening? I'd rather be spoiled by this El Producto cigar. Once you try an El Producto, you won't settle for anything less. That's because they're mild. Naturally mild.
Oh, Mr. Burns, is this one of your new discoveries?
Oh, no. I've been smoking El Producto cigars for years. Why don't you join me? Just ask your dealer for George's cigar, El Producto.
For a taste of real smoking luxury, it's the naturally mild El Producto Corona. 3 for 50 cents.
Look at that shit. 3 for 50 cents? Damn. You know? Well, and old George, I mean, he, I think towards the end of his life, he was smoking like 16 freaking cigars a day, you know? I mean, he could afford it, for sure, but, damn, man. I'd like to get, 3 El Productos for 50 cents. That would be pretty awesome, man. How was that audio on that video clip? Could you guys hear it okay? Did it sound good? Another one of my favorite movies, favorite actors, favorite comedians. Got to share this with you.
I was afraid of that. Okay.
This has been a nerve-shattering experience for me, sir. I'd like to go home.
Fella? Well, left my Jag in Kansas City.
The old Silver Streak, man. Right on. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I've watched that movie so many times. I love the Silver Streak. It was good. And, yeah, it's hard to go wrong with Richard Pryor. Reception spotty. Right on. Lagging a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I am actually on Wi-Fi. I'm trying to get my Cat 6 run over here, and that might be part of what my problem is I'm not actually plugged in right now. So bear with me as I get some new stuff done around here in the studio, and get everything set the way that it needs to be. And then just sipping on some good coffee tonight. Trying to not drink so much. I've been drinking so much coffee lately that it's been like, holy crap, I just can't even see what the heck's going on with it. And then another one of my my favorite scenes You know, from another movie back in the day.
All this time, he actually liked me.
I'm about to go on the air. Excuse me.
Dad, are you gonna lend me the money or not?
The new Cape Fear came out on Netflix, so it was kind of one of those deals where it was like, okay, I'm gonna check that out. And I remember, you know, De Niro cracking up and running them out of the damn theater with his cigar smoke and shit, you know. And I think The Simpsons did like a parody of that, you know, where Sideshow Bob was up there and he was, you know, laughing and smoking a cigar and shit, and Homer was making fun of him and everything. And then you know, they switched it back around, and Homer started smoking and laughing and ran Sideshow Bob out of there. That was a good one. Then another cigar scene from another great movie,
Say, man, who are y'all? What y'all want with me?
you know, you throw a box of Monte Cristos in front of me, I'm gonna grab the whole box too, like that, you know. Remember that? It's like whiskey, cigars, all you want. That was great, right? I freaking love that movie. Definitely one of my top 5, you know. Definitely really digging on that, man. Did the lag quit? Am I coming through okay, or is it still laggy and choppy? You know, I'm hoping not. I may close some shit down here to kill out some of this bandwidth. Turn some shit off. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's turn all this shit off. Give me a second, guys. Save. Apologize. I just want to do everything that I can do to try and make this thing run a little bit better. Here we go. I haven't watched much of his stuff, Marvin. I really haven't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of time to watch a lot of comedy because I'm watching a lot of cigar shit, and then I'm watching stuff with Mama. So, but I will definitely check that out. Well, I remember Muggsy used to smoke cigars a lot. You know, that dog that had that whistly ass laugh, you know, Muggsy. And then, of course, you know, who could forget, you know, Thomas? Oh, Thomas loved to smoke him some cigars in some episodes of Tom and Jerry. That's for damn sure. I remember that, you know. But then another comedian, another cigar scene. One of my favorites. Great actor, great comedian.
Cigar?
No, thanks.
Let me know if you change your mind.
I will.
I'll get it nice and juicy for you.
Oh, Uncle Buck, man. Definitely in my top 10 movies of all time, too. Love John Candy. Put some good, really good stuff out, man. Definitely enjoyed that. Being that it's Independence Day tomorrow, how about some Independence Day scene?
This is important. Fat lady. I got you. Wow, it's funny. I always thought that things like these would kill me.
I haven't watched that movie in probably a decade, and just pulled through and pulled that up and seen what was going on. Yeah, for sure, man. You know, some very, very decent stuff. And then one that always stuck out in my head, a scene from one of the great movies that I went and seen as a younger kid, that I was too young to go in and see it, but
Yeah! Give that man a cigar!
from First Blood, remember? Give that man a cigar. Oh shit, guys. Really, really love that stuff, man. It was good. There's two movies that I remember the most from when I was a kid, and that was that Harpo Marx Brothers one. I used to watch that with my grandfather, and my dad wasn't really into the Marx Brothers, but my grandpa sure was. Boy, he'd love watching them on TV. I remember going to the movies, and they'd have like a classic weekend, and we could go in and catch some matinees of some old Marx Brothers movies actually at the movies, you know. Hey, Donuts. Welcome, brother. Glad you could make it. Having a great Independence Day Eve. Right on. Glad you got your bomb. I sent Donuts a nice little care package of some stuff. And, you know, I hope that you enjoy them as much as I do. It's all stuff that I've really liked and enjoyed for quite some time. Glad you could come. And I kind of got a little bit better system worked out for mailing some stuff, and that's kind of part of what I got going on in my studio now. Is I've got more room to have my printer, to have my boxes, to have my packaging and my taping and my labels and all that shit. So it's just gonna make it a lot easier to be able to keep sending cigar bombs out to people, and you know, I can't wait to share it with you. But it's like, I just started working on it this week and had to do a lot of stuff to get it ready and get it going. And but I'll be putting some content out with that as I get some things done and share some stuff with you. Yeah, that's a good movie too, Doctor. Die Hard. I don't know. Everybody kind of, you know, associates that with Christmas now, you know, like Die Hard is a Christmas movie and shit, you know. It wasn't no Christmas movie to me, you know. But that's, you know, when when he was in his heyday, you know what I mean? And you know, that's one of the movies that made him famous. But I know the scene that you're talking about on that for sure. So we went through some scenes from some movies. And, being that it's America's birthday, I also wanted to just talk about American smokers, people that I would like to smoke with. Everybody asks the question sometimes, hey, if you could smoke a cigar, with somebody or anybody, who would it be? What would be, one of the people that you would do it with? Well, if we're going back, not 250 years, but going back into history, I think Mark Twain would definitely be somebody that, could probably tell you some hella stories while you're sitting there sharing cigars, another person from history would be Al Capone. Who wouldn't love to sit down with Al Capone and, freaking, here's some of his stories and have some of the cigars that he had. You know what I mean? That would be somebody I would definitely want to smoke with for sure. Or good old JFK, it's funny. He's the one that, that put the Cuban embargo in place, but right before he, put that Cuban embargo in, he bought like 2,500 Cuban cigars. You know what I mean? Which was kind of shitty. You know what I mean? He knew they were good. He knew they were that good, but with the Cold War shit and everything and Castro or whatever, he fucked it up for all of us, but I'd still like to sit down and have a smoke with him. Definitely sit down and smoke with Richard. Richard was a big cigar smoker. He liked to smoke all kinds of shit, for sure. And another person that I would like to smoke with too, my namesake, my name is Sean, and my mother named me after Sean Connery, another, fine actor that likes smoking cigars. Like to sit down and just listen to him talk, while we're smoking. That would be definitely somebody else that I would love to smoke with. Maybe good old Archie Bunker. In fact, I remember when I was a kid watching All in the Family, and my grandpa had like a All in the Family record in his record cabinet that he would pull out, and it would just have some excerpts from the show and Archie talking and doing his little bit. Hey, Wigwag, what's up, buddy? Yep, cheers. Happy 3rd, happy 4th, happy 250th American birthday. Glad you could come join the show, brother. Just a nice chill night. I don't know about you guys, but we've had fireworks going off all damn week, just blowing up. And it's funny because every year, this time of year, you get on like social, like you get on Facebook, and we've got this community page and a couple community pages from some of the cities around here and shit. And everybody's always bitching about people shooting off fireworks because it's not 4th of July. And it's like, it's like that every year. You know what I mean? It's like, the stands go up, the shit's going to get blown off. You know what I mean? And just chill out and, maybe go to the dispensary and get your dog some gummies so that they're not driving you batshit crazy or something. I don't know why people bitch about fireworks going off at this time of year. You know what I mean? It's celebration of American life, Nice. What are you putting on the smoker tomorrow, brother? I got a nice tri-tip that I'm gonna reverse sear tomorrow, and looking forward to that. My son loves that tri-tip, and I got a really good Cattleman's seasoning that's made specifically for tri-tip, and man, it's really, really good. I love it. Another person that I would definitely love to smoke with, one of my favorite comedians too, the old Rodney. You know, Rodney was a huge cigar smoker. Seen him smoking cigars quite a bit, you know. And here's another old guy, man. TV show that the dude smoked on the show all the time was Columbo. Remember Columbo? You know, that was you know, had that what do you have, some kind of freaking bird, like a toucan or something, or you know, I don't remember what bird that he had, but he was pretty funny. And that, I was young when that show came out. I was really young when that show came out. Brisket burn-ins, pork belly burn-ins, burgers. Well, it sounds like you got it covered, man, for sure. I love me some pork belly. Your pork belly skin on, or is it just clean? Yeah, doctor, I would imagine with you being out there in California, where the tri-tip actually came from, you probably, you know, you guys get better cuts of tri-tip out there than just about anywhere, you know. Skin, yeah, dude, that's the only way to do it, man. You know, smoke that up and then get that, you know, get that skin all crispy and seared and crunchy. Oh my God, dude, that is so good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, please hit the like, send the hearts, do the things that you can do to help get the channel going, you know. I appreciate it, man. The channel's still growing steadily, and I'm still enjoying it. I'm still looking forward to putting out a lot of great content. I think with you know, with this studio coming in the way that it's coming together, and how easy it's going to be for me, and I'm going to have, you know, setups for product shoots and everything, and I can just leave it all set up. I don't have to tear shit down and put it together and tear, you know what I mean? It's actually going to have a studio that I can just go set in and film and do whatever I want to do. I'm really pumped about that. It's been a long time in coming, but it's finally here. Just got to put some work and some money into it and get it finished up the way that I want to, you know? Right on. Yep. Yeah, it's like some burn-ins with a freaking chicharrone on top of it, you know what I mean? This shit is good. You know, I cook a lot of brisket, you know. I love brisket. You know, I just cook them whole, trim them up, and you know, season them up and just cook them till they're done, you know. Get the bark set on them, get a really good bark set on it, and then you know, wrap it up in some butcher paper with some, you know, some tallow, some Wagyu tallow, and just cook it until it's just wiggly, jiggly goodness. You know what I mean? A lot of people are always like, well, you know, you cook it to this temperature, you cook it to that temperature, you cook it till it's done. You know what I mean? When it's probe tender, you know, then it's done, then it's ready, you know, and it takes however long it takes, you know what I mean? But man, I love me some good brisket, you know, and then just cut that point out and, you know, take the burn ends off of it and toss it in some sauce and put that back on the grill for a while and let that sauce caramelize on them some bitches, man. Oh my God. You know, that is to die for. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the great things about this holiday too, man, is everybody eats good. You know, there's always, there's always really good, sales. There's always really good, good buys on meat, good, produce. And it's, there's, the good Black Diamond watermelons are out, and the fucking, the peaches and cream sweet corn, and just all the good stuff, to cook along with it, at this time of year. It's just like, man, hey, Guns, what's up, brother? Happy 4th. Glad you could make it in. What are you guys smoking on tonight? Check in with me. Let me know what you guys are smoking, what you guys are pairing with it. Hopefully y'all got something really good. I'm smoking on this Carrillo Pledge of Allegiance. It's really doing me justice. Really, really digging it right now. And Young sent me a package that's got one of those J.C. Newman American Puros in it, and I'm really looking forward to getting that. Unfortunately, the Blue Father, the U.S. Postal Service, has got my cigars sitting on the other side of town, and I didn't get them in time. Maybe they'll deliver them tomorrow. I doubt it. I mean, it's a holiday. They ain't gonna have no mail running tomorrow. So, I mean, unless it's like FedEx or something, but I don't think I'll get them, but that's okay. We'll definitely get that and smoke it and enjoy it for sure. Like I was saying, I was sharing with everybody earlier, I've got my red, white, and blue cigar picks for tomorrow. Got my Opus Forbidden Magistral 13th for my red, and my Fuente y Padron Legends, the amazing stick that I just can't believe that I bought, but I'm going to smoke it anyway tomorrow, and then I'm going to smoke a Opus Society tomorrow too. So that's my red, white, and blue. I think 3 cigars will be plenty for tomorrow. I'm going to be tasting a lot of stuff while I'm cooking, so my palate's going to get put through the works tomorrow, but that's okay, and I'll be all right with that. Got some good homemade lemonade that we're going to make tomorrow, and I think Mama's going to do some sun tea or something like that. And so I got that going on, and then tomorrow we'll be celebrating. Today's 99 days. Tomorrow will be 100 days alcohol free for me. So I'm really excited about that. That's been a hell of a long haul, and I'm glad I was able to pull it off, and no looking back, and normally, I'd be sipping on some good whiskey tomorrow, making some cocktails, drinking some beer. My neighbor, I know he'll be shit hammered by noon, stumbling around in his freaking, American flag outfit that he'll have on tomorrow. And then he's got this long beard, and he always has his old lady paint his beard up like an American flag. It's badass. If I can get some pictures of it, I'll take some pictures of it so I can show you guys next time. This outfit that he's got on, and his American flag beard that he does for the 4th every year. It's just classic. I love it, and just watching him with his family and his grandkids and stuff. He's got a bunch of grandkids running around, and like I said, they've been unloading truckloads of stuff. So I think we're going to have some good shows, and most of the people in my neighborhood, you know, just do it up to the hilt. In fact, I might even send the drone up tomorrow and, get up in some fireworks displays and shoot them at bird's eye level, Right on the firecracker tonight in the CAO 250th. Yeah, I got me one of those for my second cigar for tonight. I haven't had it yet, so I'm hoping that it's good. It should be. And then right on. Double oak. Right on. That's some good stuff, man. Yeah, I haven't had the firecracker, so I hope you enjoy that. That should be a good stick. Anything that's like, holiday themed, it just, you just kind of got to do it, That's why I was like, I'm going to do this Pledge of Allegiance in this CAO tonight. And, then pull out some special occasion guys for tomorrow. And we don't have anybody coming over. It's just going to be me and my wife and my son. He gets the day off tomorrow, and, it's my weekend. So, United Gold Stars. Okay. I'll have to try some of those. I haven't had any of those. Hey, Enrique. Welcome to the show, brother. Glad you can make it. Hope everything's going good for you and they're alive and well and celebrating in Miami. And should be a good time down there. I know they ain't on no shortage of fireworks displays or parties or anything down there where you're at, brother. They should be a good weekend for you for sure. Wigwag puts on a big display. Oh, that's cool. So that's cool, man. Where'd you learn how to do all that stuff, dude? Or did you just buy something and just kind of fiddle around with it till you got it down? Well, yeah. I too, I've been spending a bunch of money on the house and getting the studio ready and doing all that stuff, man. So hotter than hell down there. I bet it's been hot up here. Like I said, we've been in heat warnings, in the hundreds, 105 heat indexes, 108 heat indexes this week, and, yeah, I'll have to look those up and give those a try. That sounds really, really good. Man, I think everybody has. I mean, I know we have, we've hosted, we got 4 games that we're hosting. We got people coming in from all over the world and shit. And, but like I said, I really haven't found a whole lot of people at any of the cigar bars or anything that are, sitting around smoking and doing any of that kind of stuff. But they got a really cool fan experience down there, and just the whole town has just been electric, and everybody's talking soccer. And hell, I've watched more soccer, this last month than I have in the last 10 years probably. So, that fever has been just, electrifying everybody here in Kansas City for sure. I don't know, roof repair, siding, air conditioner, dude. Wigwag had to bust out the old credit card and shit, or dip into the savings. Dude, that's the kind of shit I do for a living on properties, and it ain't cheap. None of that stuff is cheap nowadays, man. So my hat's off to you for that. And hopefully you can, get some good hours in, make some good money quick, and recoup some of that expense. But I mean, it's shit you got to do. You know what I mean? You got to be comfortable. You gotta be cool. You gotta wash. You gotta do, all that stuff. For sure. Yeah, everywhere you go, dude. They've had like a parade up here. They had an orange parade for some soccer deal. There was like 22,000 people there, doing all that kind of shit, and just, power and light every night. There's people down there by the thousands, just huddled up, watching stuff, getting drunk, having a good time, Yeah, I even went up to Outlaw to pick up that box of those Deep Blues. And, they got like 30 TVs in there, and every damn one of them was on soccer. Everybody was just chilling back and watching soccer, and it was pretty cool. Going to the Seattle Stadium for the U.S. Oh, dude, that's epic. You know what I mean? And I don't know about there, but good God, dude, some of the ticket prices at some of these things, it's like, like nosebleeds are like $600, and it's just crazy, the prices for some of these freaking tickets. And dude, the fucking parking, $150 to park at Arrowhead Stadium, man. That's insane. I mean, Chiefs games are like $65, and we're always tripping on that you got to spend that much, to watch a freaking Chiefs game. But $150, that's just insanity, Yeah, it is, Donuts. It's just like, God dang, dude, there's no way. I mean, for what a ticket would cost and the parking and all the bullshit, just, hell, I could buy a brand new TV and have 10 people over and watch and feed and party down for the same money that it would cost me to go. And I know the experience is, what it's all about and that kind of shit, but still, it's just kind of one of them deals where it's like, I don't know if I'm going to spend that kind of money on it, Oh, that's cool. I'm glad you got one. I think there was 1,776 boxes of those. You know what I mean? So it was a limited run. That's what I'm smoking tonight. Just got through pulling the band off of mine, and it's a good cigar. But I got the last one, and I was lucky to get it. I was seeing it, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta have that. Give me that damn thing. Right on. Yeah, we used to be able to do that at Chiefs games and stuff. You could just go tailgate, and people would, bring like motorhomes and buses and get their freaking generators going and put TVs on and just hang out there. And they put the kibosh on that. They do not allow you to, once the game starts, they don't allow people to hang out in the parking lots anymore and just watch the games and just be there for the, the experience and stuff, Right on, 1586. Well, that's cool. I'll check it out, brother. I'll definitely check it out. I got all weekend to get caught up on some stuff. I know, Marvin's been putting out a ton of content this week, and, I've been trying to keep up with some of his stuff, and there's some other people that I'm wanting to get caught up. So I'm going to watch some Cigar Tube this weekend. I'll definitely give that a watch, man, for sure. Right on. Guns, how'd you like that Maduro, that Tobacconaut Maduro? I just got a little 5-pack of the Robustos. that just showed up this week. I haven't smoked them yet, but everybody that I've talked to has said that they really enjoyed it. Well, of course, Ben, I mean, that's kind of what it's all about. We got to support each other and, subscribe and like each other's stuff and, do the thing and comment, that's huge too. I try to, if I'm watching, videos or something, those comments and that interaction, with the creators, really helps out their channels, so definitely do that for mine. And, cause I'm going to get you back on that kind of stuff, for sure. But this has been good. I mean, I don't know if you've got into smoking that box yet, but damn. Well, I think I paid, I don't know, $23 for this or something, but I didn't care because I was just like, I wanted to try one because last year's were really good. That's cool. So you got both of them. Yeah, I'm going to be smoking one of mine here pretty soon. But you expected better. Yeah, that's kind of one of those deals with a lot of this stuff, you know what I mean? It's like, they hit it out of the park with that Johnny Tobacconaut 10th anniversary, and it was so good. And in fact, I've been watching, comments on Room 101's Facebook page and stuff, and everybody's been talking about the Maduro, but a lot of people are like, man, bring back that 10th, put some more of those out, but, most of their stuff is really good. And, I enjoy a lot of the Room 101 cigars. They're really decent. Right on. The 2026 CAO. Yeah, I haven't smoked mine yet. That's going to be my next light up, is this CAO America 250th. I have. In fact, we got Cassie's joint. She's got some of those Black Label tradings, and I've had a couple of those. The first one was a Lancero. Trying to remember exactly which one it was. It was one of those releases that they just had come out this year. I can't remember the name of it, but it was pretty decent. I dug it. Yeah, a little too strong, Enrique, that natural. Yeah, the 10th was good. I mean, it was really good. In fact, I've got 2 of those left, and I don't know. I'll end up smoking those before the summer's over with. And I've been kind of doing some thinking, and it's like, Brenda and I finally, been going over some finances and stuff because we got to pay for some stuff for Libby now and take care of some things. And, I've got, I'm just sitting over 600 cigars now. And, so I think I'm going to start actually doing some videos and, smoking on here, but I want to do some new segments, called Let's Get Smoking, and, get in there and just start, smoking some of the stuff that I've had in my humidor for a couple of years now, and come back and revisit some of that stuff. Smoked it when I first got it, and then I've got some that are sitting in the humi, and hopefully with a little bit of age on some of that stuff, some of it'll be better, and some of it just won't. I mean, they just, some cigars just don't get a whole lot better with age. You know what I mean? I have not. I've not. I got a buddy of mine that I work with, Derek. Derek, if you're watching, hey bud. Hopefully you aren't on call this weekend, brother, because I don't want you calling me for something, because I'm on call this weekend too for emergencies. Yeah, and but that's that. I have not had to speak, and he likes to smoke. I think what is it? It's that Flathead 660, that big old cigar. He smokes a lot of those, and I have not tried it. Some of the oldest ones that I have, I've got, so the oldest ones that I've got are some La Auroras. I've got some of the small batch 006s, that little twisty little shaggy foot cigar that was made back in 2011. I got, I've got a few Cubans that have got about 4 or 5 years of age on them. I've got some 2017 and some 2018 Byrons. So I've got a few cigars that got some age on them, but most of the stuff that I've got is probably 2-3 years, something like that. The Speed Shop Habano, right on. Well, I know Cassie carries a lot of those, so I will definitely maybe next week take a long lunch break and I'll give one of those a try. Nice. Yeah, I just got a 4-pack of those in this week. That's another cigar that I just got, and that's like been my most anticipated cigar so far, is that Tapa Negra from Dunbarton. That thing, I think it's going to be really delicious. So maybe when you get your box in, Guns, you can come on the show with me and we'll sit together and smoke one together. That would be pretty kick-ass. Yeah, Enrique. So that Puro Vintage, so she had a box of those. And then I also bought that, freaking, that Prime Collection set that had 2 of those in it. And then it had like 4 cigars that had, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years of age on them that weren't ever even put into production. So it was a really limited release set. And yeah, that was pretty sweet. In fact, I don't know if I got those in there, but that was something that I definitely, because I like the La Aurora stuff. In fact, I smoked one that night, that Puro, vintage Puro, and it's like a Figurado or a Salomon, something like that. Really good looking cigar. Let's see if I got the box of that. I was gonna do an unboxing of that freaking thing too, and yeah, I don't have any pictures of that, I don't think. But it was a really gorgeous box. And is that it? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so see, it's got those vintage Puros in it, and then it's got like some of the 100th anniversaries, and then like these 4 cigars right here are the ones on the end here. Those are those 4 that they put out, and they never were production cigars. So it's like that's the only place that you could get them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Happy 4th, aficionado. Happy 4th to all. I know, man. I'm telling you. Get the soccer yeah. Them and like Smoke Inn is a huge Dunbarton distributor. You know, Small Batch has got them too, and I think those will be out. You know, those will be out coming up sometime soon in some of the locals. I'm hoping. I hope to be able to get them if they're as good as I think they're going to be. You know, I'm hoping to be able to get some on a regular basis anyway, you know. But as soon as I seen Steve talk about those at PCA, I was like, oh God, I got to have those. I got to try some of those for sure. But yeah, there's quite a few purveyors out there that you can get that stuff from and try them out. They've got like a Robusto and a Toro Vitola of that cigar. And they're about the normal Dunbarton, you know, 18 to 22, you know, a stick for those. So not too bad. But I'm just letting them rest, you know, let them acclimate for a little bit. Like I said, you know, shipping stuff this time of year, I don't even want to touch them for a while. Just let them cool down and rehydrate and do their thing, you know, make sure that they're perfect and I don't have any issues when I light them up, you know what I mean? For certain. Gun says, did I see the CAO Flathead cut light station built like was it a gas pump? I didn't see that, man. I'll have to check that out. I bet that's pretty cool. You know, some of the swag that these guys are putting out. Yeah, thanks. You know, and that's one of the things that we got to do too. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, if anybody can, you know, can help somebody find something, you know, that they're looking for, why not? You know what I mean? You can't smoke them all. You might as well help your friends, you know, get some stuff, and you know, then you know, you can share your experience of what you thought about them together, you know. Yeah, I'll definitely check that video out because I love shit like that, you know. I got a little bit of some swag stuff from Dunbarton and from Drew Estate, and wasn't it the let me look that up. It was yeah, Glenn Wolfson, the CEO of Drew Estate, just died recently, like in the last week or something. You know what I mean? So hearts and prayers going out to his family and everybody, and you know, a big leader in the cigar industry that we don't have anymore. You know, passed. Hey, y'alls, welcome, brother. Happy 4th. Happy 3rd. Hope you're having a good night and set up for a great weekend. What are you smoking on tonight, brother? Okay. Well, I usually yeah, I thought so. I thought I read that he'd passed away. Well, happy 4th to you too, brother. Glad you come in and hang out with us for a little bit tonight. So I'm gonna put down this. This has been good. good solid smoke, smoked really good all the way through. Didn't have any burn issues or construction. I mean, that's your usual, you know, Casa Carrillo, you know, what you can expect from them. You know, they always have got really good cigars. But I'm going to switch over to this CAO America 250th and light that up. Oh, nice. That, I love the Ferry of Tego stuff. I really do. You know, Michael just really has done really well for himself and just put together some amazing sticks. The Suma is really good, and I love the Elegancia too. You know, a lot of the Timeless line is very delicious too. I like the Pan American, and I like the Sterling. You know, all good cigars for sure. And this is cool, you know, because it's got the little, you know, band, you know, rolled up through it, you know, kind of unique, and, you know, the stripes, stars and stripes vibe on it. Hoping this will be a good cigar. I'm sure it will. Sure, it'll be a good one. It tastes good. Definitely a different vibe from that Pledge of Allegiance for sure. Simon, I'm sure you're done with that JC Newman. What do you got coming up, lined up for your next stick?
Well, Fogey, for my second delectable choice, I have been aging this monster Etabay Diosis. The Etabay Diosis is a luxury limited-release double Corona cigar measuring 8 inches by a 50 ring gauge. Crafted in Costa Rica by Selected Tobacco and blended by Nelson Alfonso, it features a silky Ecuadorian wrapper. I abso-fucking-lutely love these big Mahamba Jambas, so let's get smoking.
Right on, brother. I too love those Atabaidiosis. Those are, you know, that double Corona, man. That's a 3-hour cigar all day long, you know, and for the price, you know, it should be, you know. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good places to get stuff. I mean, you know, you want to support local as much as you can. I'm always telling people to, you know, support local and do what you can with that. But, you know, to get some of these that you want, that you, especially in time, especially new releases and seasonal stuff and LE stuff, you almost have to, you know. Either that or you just got to do a bunch of running around and a bunch of hunting. And sometimes that's fun and sometimes it's not. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's not. I just don't have the time all the time to go out and try and hunt all this, you know, new stuff and hype stuff and all that kind of thing. Oh yeah, this is really good. I'm gonna have to get me some more of these. I know Cassie, she got, I think, 3 boxes of these, and I'm gonna definitely stop by next week and pick me up, yeah, a couple, 3 more of these. Will be good. Yeah, I mean, you know, you work all the time. You know, you don't always have time to just pop in. And if you're local, that you know, I've got one store that I go to most of the time, and then another store that I go to all the time. And if one of those two doesn't have it, then, you know, I'm pretty much ordering it online, you know, for sure. I mean, you can get a little bit better price that way most of the time, except for like, you know, like Opuses and the Atabays and the, you know, Rare Pink Black, you know, some of those higher end cigars. It's just like, oh my God. Like I've seen like Opus Lost Cities, you know, for like double the price. You know, those Opus Societies, you know, I've seen them some bitches for well over $100, and that's about a $90 stick, you know. And you know, some of them people out there are gouging you on some of that stuff. So be careful and price shop. Watch what you're doing, and you know, there's no sense in paying, you know, a 40% markup on a cigar that you can probably get somewhere else for a way better price. You know what I mean? For sure. Boy, this sumbitch has got some really good coffee hints to it. I can taste it. Really delicious cigar. You know, definitely another one of the CAOs that I'm gonna want to go back to. You know, I smoke a lot of the Brazilias, the Brasilia box press. I've told you guys that. That's a really great cigar, but this is damn good. And I got to go back through, like I said, I've been, you know, working on this new studio and working on my new cigar storage setup, which I'm just thrilled to come up with the idea. Like I said, I haven't seen anybody else doing it, and it's pretty unique, and I'm really excited about it. But I got to get some stuff built and get some stuff seasoned up and do some things. But you know, I really can't wait to you know, to go back through everything, you know, and you know, getting your cigars out, and you know, when I've got some stuff in my, you know, my refrigerator, and then I've got, you know, stuff in Pelican cases with Boveda packs in them and stuff, you know, good airtight cases. But you know, you got to let some fresh air in there every once in a while, and you've got to, you know, get them moved around a little bit, you know what I mean? And just kind of go through the inventory and move some stuff. But I'm going to have a lot more room. Stuff's going to be a lot more accessible. I'm not going to have to dig into piles of cigars to find the shit that I want, you know, and I'll be able to separate, you know, wrapper styles and, you know, brands a lot better than I can now. And then I'll just have, you know, my go-to stuff that I like to smoke all the time. And it'll just be like, there it is, you know, pull that baby out and go for it, you know. But I don't know. I'm just glad to have a weekend off, you know. I'm finally slowing down at work, finally. In fact, I think I got 2 hours of overtime this week. Versus my normal like 12 or 15. So it's been nice to, you know, pop the clutch a little bit on some stuff and not have so much on my plate, not be worrying about shit so much. And just eating some good food. Actually spend a little time with my son. My son's really been big into playing pickleball lately. He's like, you know, got all the gear and the paddles, and I bought him this badass bag and stuff for his birthday, and he's been getting into that, and he's been wanting me to come out and teach me how to play. So I may have to shoot some video of my old ass chasing a little ball around and stuff. Because I used to play tennis when I was younger. I love playing tennis, but I haven't played the pickleball, and I don't know the rules, and you know, but I guess it's a huge ass thing, you know. There's you know, just pickleball joints all over the place. fact, there's a joint up in North Kansas City that's called Chicken and Pickle. And, they've got a little restaurant and pickleball courts and all that kind of stuff, Nice. Wigwag's on vacation. 2 weeks, right on. Just wrapped up a 2-year project. Yeah, dude, isn't that going to be nice? You know what I mean? That's got to be a load off, brother, for sure. Putting in those kind of hours and stuff, it gets old. It gets old quick, especially if you've been doing it for like a couple years straight. Good Lord, But yeah, I'll probably maybe try that out and do a little pickleballing and see how that goes. And it'd be good to get a little bit of exercise, it's funny. A lot of people, well, I don't need to exercise because I work hard. Yeah. It's like, hey, you can work hard all you want, man. That ain't exercise. You know what I mean? It just isn't. Your body gets used to doing that all the damn time. And it's not like you're, exerting any more energy to burn more calories or sweat harder or do any shit like that. You know what I mean? You gotta get out and move a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I think probably in the next couple of weeks, if we can get the weather to chill back out a little bit, I got to get out and hit some golf balls. I know Marvin's been out playing a couple times this year, and I've got some buddies that keep asking me to go play, and I just haven't had time to do it. So definitely going to make some time for that. I am going Sunday. I'm getting the boat out and going to do some fishing. So I might shoot some video Sunday doing that. Maybe even live stream a little bit. Maybe rip into some big flatties or something on the boat and take some good sticks out and get a little sun and enjoy some heat and maybe have a fish fry next weekend. I mean, nothing like some fresh caught fish to fry up and eat, man. Jeez. And when you put all the work in yourself, and you go out and you catch them and you clean them and you prepare it and do all that stuff, man, it's just, fresh crappie, fresh catfish. Oh my God, there's nothing like it, Some good walleye. And they've been catching a bunch of walleye out of Smithville Lake too, here in Kansas City, and some nice big ones. Walleye is good eating. Crappie's my favorite, and I love catfish. I love the flathead, like that belly meat on that flathead. But walleye is definitely good eating fish. The Toro tobacco nut, right on. You think it's a little sweeter than the Robusto? Right on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to smoking that. I got mine late. I got mine from Luxury, and they were just a little late getting those out. Everybody else seemed to have them before I had them, but definitely want to smoke those. Definitely want to smoke those Tapa Negras. And then I got those Lampert Baba Yagas, I'm going to let those rest for a while. I think I said on my last show that, those were a little brash. They need some time to sit and chill a little bit. Yeah, where I was trying to skin a head. Yeah, I imagine that probably wasn't no fun. I don't skin my catfish, dude. You know what I mean? I fillet them just like a crappie or anything else, you know, I'll cut the belly out of it and then I'll fillet them, and then I'll just cut that skin, you know, right off the fillets. And then you got to trim all that red meat out. You know what I mean? No red meat. You know, that's what makes them taste greasy. That's what makes them taste fishy. You know, if you're frying up catfish and it's got red meat in it, it's not going to taste good. You know what I mean? You really got to spend the time to go in there with a good fillet knife and trim out all that red meat. And you're going to lose some, you're going to, you know, but it's well worth it to spend the time to clean them right. And then they eat really, really good, you know. And then I usually, you know, I'll catch them. I'll keep them in the live well till I get home. And then the catfish, I just, you know, of course, the crappie, they're live when I fillet them. And then catfish, I always hang them up off the side of the boat and cut the tails off and bleed them. And that helps too. That really helps a lot, you know. Let them bleed out and get all that blood out of that meat and everything, and that really helps with the flavor of them as well. You know, I had a buddy of mine, Tony Gilpatrick, showed me how to do that. He lives down at Lake of the Ozarks, and he catches a shit ton of fish all the time. And he was like, "Yeah, dude, bleed them out, cut them, you know, let them bleed out, let them hang." And I started trying that, and I was like, "Wow, that's good advice, you know, really made a difference." So yeah, I'm going to get to go fishing Sunday, and I'm looking forward to it. And of course, it's the hottest part of the year when I'm actually getting ready to start and go do all my shit. But, you know, when you got to work, you got to work. What are you going to do? You know, it is what it is. And you just kind of got to go through it and make it happen when you can make it happen, you know. But I love being out on my boat and just, you know, it's just me. Every once in a while, I'll have a buddy come fish with me or something, but I just like being out there. You know, I love anchoring up and catching some bait and, you know, pitching out some, you know, some bluegill heads and on some big tackle and circle hooks, and, you know, sit there and catfish and pitch some minnows over the side and catch whatever I can catch. And, you know, it is what it is, you know. Yeah, well, that's the other thing too, Guns, is I just, you know, it's like, you know, I've cracked them on the skull with ball peen hammers. I've used ice picks. You know, they don't want to die, you know, and just let them hang and let them bleed out. And, you know, then they're not wiggling on you and they're not fucking stabbing you with them damn spikes and poking holes in you. And, you know, they, you know, and they will thrash. I mean, they will seriously thrash, you know. Hey, Manny. Welcome, brother. Happy 4th. Hope you're doing well. Hope you got some good stuff to smoke on this weekend. And you're smoking. What are you smoking tonight, bud? Anything? Yeah, dude. You know, it's just like they will, you know, you can literally pound them in the skull for, you know, 15 whacks and they still won't die, you know, and, you know, and they'll stab the shit out of you with those little side spikes that they got. You kind of got to go right up behind those and hold those open while you know, fuck all that. Just, let them bleed out and, you know, start filleting them when they're not wiggling no more. Not a danger to you. But, Manny, you got any big plans for the weekend or anything, brother? What do you got going on? Hopefully something good. You're not smoking tonight. Nice. Well, that's cool. Yeah, you'll enjoy that one, dude. You know, that that Dunbarton Red Meat Lovers. I've been enjoying that stick for a couple of years now, and I really, really like it. You know, and last year they came out with that Fratanga, which it's okay, but man, nothing like, you know, my favorite is that ribeye. You know what I mean? That Red Meat Lovers ribeye, that's a great cigar, you know. Just gonna barbecue tomorrow for the family. Yeah. Yep. Cheers to that, everybody. Getting some relaxation and just fucking hanging out with family and, you know, enjoying being an American, you know, and celebrating, you know, 250 years, you know. I mean, that's crazy. You know what I mean? It really is. It's, I mean, look at how far this country's come in 2.5 centuries. I mean, it's just, it's just crazy to try and think back that many generations and how simple things were and how slow life was and how hard it was. I mean, God, could you imagine, you know, being the people that came over here and carved out this country and, you know, made the jaunts out west and all, how hard that was. Oh my God, dude. You know, we got it pretty lucky. We bitch about a lot of shit, you know, but, you know, it's, you know, pretty crazy. Nail him to the tree, right on. Yeah. Yeah, I just quit trying to skin them. I mean, there's, you know, because I don't cook them whole. You know what I mean? I just like cutting them up into nuggets, you know, and sometimes on a smaller fish, I'll cook a whole fillet. But, you know, on the big fish, I'll just, you know, just fillet them like a crappie and freaking, you know, trim that red meat off and just cut them up into little nuggies and do it up, you know. Yeah, the bicentennial, you know. I was around for that too, you know. It's hard to believe, you know, that 50 years of the 250 have gone by in a flash, you know. I mean, God, dude, you know, I turned 57 last month, and it don't seem possible, you know. Doesn't even seem possible, you know. Absolutely, you know. Yeah, amen to that, Enrique. You know, greatest country in the world. You know, we are fucking spoil rotten. You know, uh, you know, people bitch and moan and cry about this, that, and another, and whatever. But you know, we got it pretty good. You know, and we're pretty arrogant as Americans. You know what I mean? I can see why a lot of the folks in the rest of the world don't like us, you know, because we're arrogant and we have the freedoms that we have, and we get to do shit that they don't get to do, like keep our guns, you know, or whatever, you know. You know, you just have to really feel truly blessed, and growing up in America and being an American has just been, you know, such a great pleasure. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else in the world, you know, no way. Yeah. When I was, you know, when I was growing up, you know, it seemed like forever to get to be like 5 years old. You know, I was like, oh my God, you know. And when you're a little kid, you always want to, you know, you always want to grow up. You want to be an adult. You want to have those freedoms and all that shit. And it seems like, you know, just to turn 5, you know, took forever, you know. And now it's like, you know, decades roll by like they're nothing, you know. Yeah. I'm glad to do it too. You know what I'm saying? For reals. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You know, it's just that American mindset. You work hard, you work your ass off. You want something, you go get it. You do what it takes. Is it easy? No, it ain't ever easy. It's hard. But just the opportunities that we have and the freedoms that we have and the beautiful country that we have. You know what I mean? It's like, there's so many places that I still want to go in this country that I've never been to. I've never been to the Grand Canyon. I've never been up in Young's part of the country. I've never been up in like Seattle or Washington or, any of those places. I've never been to Maine, never been to DC. There's a lot of places in this country that I would love to go see. Hopefully, when I retire, I can actually get to do a little bit more traveling and see some more of this great country. Hell, I want to go out and visit Marvin and go see them big ass redwoods before they're dead. I want to go drive my car through a fucking tree. That would be cool. I could definitely dig on that. My wife and I went to the grocery store today, and there was just freaking fireworks tents everywhere. I mean, it's like you couldn't go a block without seeing 5 of them, and just people just loading up, and I was just making a comment to her today, because when, the kids were little and growing up, we'd spend a shit ton of money. It wouldn't be anything to spend $600, $700, $800 on fireworks for the kids and just let them blow the hell out of some stuff. And I was thinking, well, you're just setting your money on fire, and it's like, I kind of had the realization that it's like us as cigar smokers, that's what we're doing, smoking cigars. We're lighting our money on fire and, but at least you got, a good experience of something, to show for it. It lasts a hell of a lot longer, and think of all the damn stogies that you could buy with, $500, $800, that is just going in a night. And then, you got shit that would last you for months, Viaje, right on. Those are good cigars. For sure. I haven't had the TNT. Oh, I am, brother. I am. Trust me. In fact, Brenda and I used to travel a lot. We used to take a lot of motorcycle trips. Go camping. We'd go to. I'm about 10 hours from Denver. We'd go to the mountains a lot. I've been to Sturgis a few times. I've been to like Daytona Bike Week. That kind of stuff. So we do travel, but we stay a little closer to home now. Just because it's so fucking expensive. And we got Branson, Missouri, which is not too far from here. That's a great vacation destination, man. Branson is really awesome. Holy shit. $3,000. Well, shit, you've got that, electronic setup and all that shit to go with that. I mean, I would love to, to see what you got going on and watch how you do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, literally, we're just setting it on fire and whatever, Yeah. But that's the truth, Ruth, But I don't care. You got to spend your money on something, I guess, Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, we did the Devil's Tower. In fact, I went to Devil's Tower specifically to take a photograph. And let me see if I can find that sumbitch. on my shit real quick. Give me just a second. Because I love that Devil's Tower, and we wanted to go up there just to walk around that thing and to get a picture of us with the bike in front of that thing with that in the background, you know. And you know, did Needles. You know, Needles was cool. You know, Spearfish Canyon, the Badlands, you know, all that stuff was freaking awesome. Well, I tell you, one of the things about being an American and living in today's world is you got so many fucking pictures. You know, I've tried to get stuff organized in my stuff, but I just don't freaking know. Here we go. Sturgis. Yeah. So we went up there specifically to get that photograph, you know, on the bike with the Devil's Tower in the background, you know. That fucking thing was just magnificent, you know. And being like, you know, remembering that from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you know what I'm saying? It was like, yeah, we gotta go to Devil's Tower. Oh, right on. Is that on your channel, dude? You got that video on your channel? Oh yeah, hell no. He better not, you know. Want to keep all them damn digis. Thank you, sir. Yeah, it was, and I got one blown up. It's up in the bedroom closet because we've been doing a little bit remodeling, but I had that thing hung up on the wall for a long time. Big poster print of us with the Devil's Tower in the background, you know. Well, man, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna spend some time really perusing through your channel, brother. I apologize. I haven't had a lot of time to really check out your content as much as I'd like to. But dude, I got the whole weekend, and you know, next show that we're on, I'll be definitely able to talk to you and share with you what I thought about you know, some of your shit. I really want to see what you got going on, because it sounds like you got the shit, you know, for real. But I don't know, Sturgis was fun, you know. And we had I don't know if you guys ever been to Little Sturgis. You know, Little Sturgis, and it's I haven't been in a long time, but Little Sturgis was more like, you know, the old school biker rallies, you know, with the titties hanging out, and you know, it was you know, a lot of fun, pretty hardcore biker shit, you know. Little Sturgis was pretty good. Yeah, me too, brother. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I do this shit for me. You know what I mean? I do it for me, and you know, I like to share my shit and my travels and my experiences and people that I meet and stuff. And you know, like I said, I've got a few channels on here, but this cigar channel that I got going has been, you know, one of the great joys of my life. You know, I have a lot of fun. You know, met the coolest people. You know what I mean? I mean, just, you know, all you guys are just aces in my book. You know, I love hanging out with you guys. I love talking cigar shit. I love talking real life stuff, you know, and that's, that's the meat and potatoes, baby. You know what I mean? It just, you know, being able to share some of that stuff, because you can't do everything. You know what I mean? You don't have the time, and you sure as hell don't have the money. You know what I mean? So to be able to live vicariously through other people, you know, especially people that, you know, have a great channel and put good content out there that you can really actually enjoy watching, you know, and, you know, it's not like a fucking dry piece of toast, you know, to watch it, you know. Yeah, so I have. In fact, I hang on a second. Let me see if I can find this one. So we used to go down Lake of the Ozarks, and we'd get out on the boat, and they had a resort called Tantera, and they would freaking do fireworks displays, and we'd watch them right from the boat. Let me see if I can find it. I might have it on one of my backgrounds. Hang on a second here. Yeah, it's kind of got some shit added on the sides here from something else, but like, you know, we'd be out on the boat, you know, on the water, and just fucking fireworks going off and shit. I just love that shit, man. It is totally kick ass, you know, for sure. And just being in the water, you know, I loved, you know, grabbing a fucking beer and just floating out in the water, sit on a fucking life preserver and just have you like a little chair and drink and watch the fucking fireworks from the boat. Man, that was awesome. You know what I mean? Do you? Well, thanks for telling me that, because now I got to go ahead and order some of those. You know? Wag says, one of my other hobbies is model railroad and trains. We just had a huge YouTube meetup, folks from around the country and Canada, about 50 people. Right on. Well, you know, we were just talking about the bicentennial. So my grandpa was heavy into trains. In fact, he had a lot of HO shit, and he had a lot of Athearn stuff. And actually, at the bicentennial, he got this Athearn train set that had like a American flag engine, and then like 6 or 7 cars from different states, and then an American flag caboose that was on it. And I converted like an old ping pong table that had all my grandpa's shit, you know, and had like, you know, switch tracks and, you know, rotary tables and, you know, little things that would like, you know, load little concrete, you know, things on your fucking train cars and all. Yeah, man, I used to be into the train stuff too, man. It was a lot of cool shit, you know, paint up the whole thing and put little trees in there and, you know, string up, you know, telephone poles and put, you know, some thread on them to make them look like they had wires, and put lights all up in it and shit. You know, that was a lot of fun, man, for sure. Right on. Yeah, it's always great to share, you know, for sure. Yeah, and it was so cool, and all the, you know, different colors from all of the fireworks and shit would just reflect off the water, and you know, it was pretty sweet. Yeah, Wags. And you know, the things that I liked about the trains was it was just, you know, just slowing down, taking your time. You know, I mean, I used to build a lot of models and shit as a kid and stuff like that, you know, but this was kind of like, you know, you're just making like a little village, a little, you know, world. And it can be whatever you want it to be, you know. and just all kinds of cool little contraptions and little, trucks. And, we used to have like the real, not the Hot Wheels, but the actual Matchbox cars that we'd put on there and stuff. And, pretty sweet. Yeah, drone footage is pretty fucking cool, man. In fact, I don't know if I can do this real quick, but I've got let me share a video with you guys real quick that I did on the channel. Hang on a second. From last year, just around my neighborhood. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick and share it with you guys. I'm getting a little better at doing stuff and finding some of this shit. Okay. All right, hang on a second. Let me put this on as a screen share. Share screen. YouTube. Share. Okay, yeah, so here's
America. 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 Yeah. Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah. America. Fuck yeah. Freedom is the only way, yeah.
So I got my drone out last year and just kind of flew it around the neighborhood.
Hello, my fellow cigar lovers and addicts. This is Simon Q. Old Fogey asked me tonight to take this one for him after a long day of cigars, barbecue, fine bourbon, and rock and roll. I just want to... Thank all of you for the amazing outpour of support.
You can't see it? All right, hold on. Damn it. Let me just do the whole fucking screen. Sorry, guys. I haven't tried to do this one yet. Entire screen. Share. Here we go. Sorry about that. Let's see if you can see this now. All right, here we go. I'm going to play this a little bit, and you guys tell me if you can see it.
America.
Can you guys see this now?
America.
Can you see it? I don't want to sit there and play it again if you guys can't fucking see it. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Sorry.
Fuck yeah. Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah. America. Fuck yeah. Freedom is the only way.
Yeah, so I was able to get the drone up
My fellow cigar
and get
lovers,
right in the
this
fireworks.
is Simon Q. Old Fogey asked me tonight to take this one for him. After a long birthday of this country is due to sacrifices. Americans have done licensed for 10 years now and just wanted to share with of the 4th of July, spending hard-earned American dollars, blowing up a fuck-ton of cheap Chinese pyrotechnics. It is our wish that you all enjoyed the holiday as we have with loving family and friends, that you ate well, shared some stories, and made lots of great memories to share. Are just getting started. Good night and God bless.
Anyway, you get the gist of it. Could you guys hear that? Right on. That's cool. So that's Lake Jacomo. That's the lake that I go fish at. That's like 5 minutes from my house. So yeah, I get to go over that lake and fish, you know. Well, that's good. I'm glad you could hear the audio because I wasn't sure. I haven't shared one of my videos on the live stream that way before, so at least I know I can do it now. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, you know. I got my drone like almost blowed the fuck up, you know what I mean? You know, it was had a couple of bombs go off right next to that sumbitch, and I thought I might lose it, but oh well, you know what I mean. That would have been, if I'd have blown one up, I got more, you know, so no big deal. Right on, thanks. Yeah, and it's on the channel too. I mean, you guys can check it out, you know, if you want to watch the whole thing. But it and I've got some other ones from you know, some other places that I've been. I'll have to try to find them at some point and put them up. We did we went down to Arkansas for a bike rally down there, the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and it's actually one of the bigger. You know, we started going down there when it started, and that bike show, I mean, it's bigger than Daytona now, and it's almost as big as frickin' Sturgis is, and it's right in the middle of the country, and it's really kind of outgrown itself. That town is not big enough for all the people that come through there. But I took the drone down and had it in the saddlebag and took it out and sent it up and flew it while I was sitting on the bike, and got up and got some cool fucking fireworks video of that. That was pretty neat. You know, I got to do that. But I love flying my drones. You know, that's another hobby, that I do. And like I said, I got my Part 107, my commercial license. I was one of the first people in the country to have one. And, man, they used to make it really difficult, for you to make any money with the drones. I mean, the FAA was just up your ass, and it's hard to get that. I mean, it's almost like getting a pilot's license, man. You got to study I studied for that test for 3 months, in fact, we were flying out to Denver, and I was on my iPad watching training videos and shit. And, you got to know, aeronautical charts. You got to know weather stuff. You got to know, the different types of, airspaces, the classes of airspaces. And you got to know like airport lingo and traffic stuff and all that shit. It was difficult, and, you would put in a request to fly, and you'd have to type out this fucking 2-page thing to tell them exactly what you were trying to do and when you were doing it. And they would either approve it or they wouldn't, and a lot of times they wouldn't, and you'd have to wait. And then when they would approve it, as long as there wasn't like a TFR, temporary flight restriction, you would, you'd get to fly. But it's like it was for a specific time and a specific date and a specific airspace, and you couldn't go higher than 400 feet. 400 was the ceiling, and so you couldn't go way the fuck up there and shit. At least without with that authorization. And like say you did all that work and you got that approval and you did all that shit, and it was raining that day, you were just fucked, and you had to start all over again. And it was just a huge pain in the ass. And then they finally got stuff to where you could actually, go in and get on an app and get instant authorizations for certain types of flights. And I've had to go back and retest for some of the new changes and all that kind of stuff to keep my license, to where I can, where it's up to date and it's still viable. But, back then with the drones, everybody was just like, fucking wanting to shoot them down and do all this crazy shit. And, people thought you were spying on them and calling the cops. And then, the cops would show up, and then they didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. They thought that they had, jurisdiction over you. And I was like, no, motherfucker, you don't control the airways. That's controlled by the FAA, or you out down here fucking with pilots and shit like, no, you know what I mean? That's public airspace. You know what I mean? That isn't any, me going up and filming or taking pictures with my drone isn't any different than some motherfucker that's standing on a sidewalk in a public place taking pictures or video with their phone. You know what I mean? You don't have any fucking jurisdiction over that shit, And I used to have to school some of them cops and pull the shit out and be like, look, dude, this is the rules. You know what I mean? You cannot tell me that I can't fly here, and you can't take my fucking drone away, and you can't fuck with me. Because if you do, you'll be getting a call from my fucking lawyer. And you know what I mean? You're asking for a bunch of fucking trouble because you don't really know what the fuck you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it was pretty difficult to deal with in the beginning, and everybody's like, oh, you spying on me and you this, motherfucker, that little tiny thing way up there, you look like a fucking ant. You know what I mean? I'm not spying on you. I can't see anything, it just, unless you got a meth lab out in your fucking backyard or some shit, just like, what the fuck, it's pretty crazy. But I do like to fly, and I did for a while. I was like, I'd buy components and frames and motors and controllers and shit, and I would build FPV drones and race them. You put the goggles on and you get in there like you're really flying it, and you go fly through these courses and do all this crazy shit and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. And but my eyesight started getting kind of bad on me, and it was like, fuck, I was crashing shit and tearing up, fucking $400 or $500 drones and shit, and having to rebuild them. And it just got to the point where it was like, I can't see good enough to do this shit anymore. But, and even now when you're flying a drone, you're supposed to keep it in line of sight. You're supposed to be able to see your drone, and, you can actually have somebody, you can have like a daisy chain of people if you've got human eyes on it, and they can relay to you with a walkie-talkie or something like that, that they can see it or whatever, then you're good. But it's just like, once that thing gets up and gets away from you a little bit, fuck, you can't see it. You're flying FPV, you're looking at the screen, you're looking through the camera of the bird and doing it like that. That's about the only way that you can do it. Man, the CAO 250th America has been a really good smoke. It's going a little fast though. Shit, I went through both of those pretty quick. I smoked 2 cigars. Hell, that fucking Opus that I that I smoked last week, that's some bitch. I smoked that for 3.5 hours. I only needed 1 cigar. Hell, I'm gonna have to bust out another one here in a little bit when I get done with this. But good thing I've got some here with me. In fact, I think the next one, because I've got a ton of these, I'll probably go ahead and bust out this Forbidden Magistral 13. This is a really delicious cigar. I was fortunate enough to get a box of these, and the box was gorgeous, man. It was a fucking in fact, let me go get it. I'll be right back. Let me go get this box. I want to show it to you. It was fucking insane. So it's a fucking huge ass box. Look at how gorgeous that, Opus, they make some of the nicest shit. And this thing, it looks like a book. Look at this. It's like it's a big giant book is what it looks like. And then, got the shit in it, $42 a piece, but I was lucky enough to get the whole fucking box. And I love these little dudes. And it is, man. It's this is a great little cigar. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it's just like, and I'm like I said, I was lucky enough to last month to get a whole box of these, and that box is pretty too. That blue, and just like, holy shit, that thing was really nice. In fact, all the Opus stuff that I bought, even that humidor, that 25th anniversary humidor that I've got all my Opus shit in, that thing is gorgeous. You know what I mean? Carlito really, really goes out of his way to make sure that the packaging and everything on this Opus stuff is just off the chart. Off the freaking chart. The first box of Opus that I bought was the Forbidden, the Amor. I got one of those, but my favorite box was I got a box of the Opus God's Whisper, the 20th anniversary. Love that cigar. That thing is just insane. I love the flavor of that. That's probably my favorite Opus, is that 20th anniversary God's Whisper. That some bitch is fucking tasty. And I've only got like 4 of those left. I bought that box a couple years ago, and I've got 4 of them left. but all the other Vitolas, you know, the Power of the Dream and the Father and Son and the Believes, you know, those, I've just bought, you know, 6, 7, 8 of those. I didn't want to spend the money because I've got a lot of different Vitolas of the same blend, you know, but, I will, brother. And sorry about the deal with the fucking email. I'll be looking for you, and Bobby, I'll send you my private email, and hopefully we can communicate a little bit better through that. I don't have to be looking through spam and shit. But have a great 4th. Glad you come. Glad you made it. You know, and I got some Ferry Otego stuff that I want to send you, and I'll send you one of those deep blues, and I'll put together a little goodie bomb for you and let you do it. But have a great holiday, brother, and hope you get to smoke some good sticks and spend some good time with family. Yeah, Enrique, that God's Whisper is it's so good, and I love that Vitola. It's like that Figurado, you know, got the little rounded bottom and, you know, like the pyramid top. Yeah, good night, my friend. See you later, Bobby. Yeah, shit, I got time for another cigar. Y'all gonna hang out with me for one more? I got yeah, we're only a couple hours in. I got time for one more. Might as well bust out one of these Forbiddens. This is a really good cigar. This is the one, that box that I got when I was hooked up with Mr. Cash when I went down to go visit him at that vineyard market down in Springfield, Missouri. Do my usual cut on these. There we go. Yeah, I like to do that chisel cut on these fuckers. Really opens that end up, and it keeps that pointy shape. Awesome. Hey, Daniel. So my brother Daniel, he's one of the local guys. In fact, he was just in the hospital this week. I went by to go visit him in the hospital, and he had some kidney stone removed, and got to go by and hang out with him. And glad you're home. Glad you're doing better. Are you feeling better, Daniel? Hopefully you're doing good, bro. My favorite sticks this year. Well, this is one of them. I've really enjoyed this. The Definition of Neo, started smoking that end of last year, first part of this year. That's a really good cigar. I really love it. I started smoking more of the Dunbarton Sin Compromisos this year than I have before. I really like that cigar. That Ferry Otego Elegancia. Of course, the 24 is where it's at with that. I really, really like it, you know. And those new definitions, the 113 and the Pivot, and they came back out with the Kinsman again. I really like the definition stuff. They're really good. And I'll tell you a cigar that has just come out that I got that I really like is that that Espinosa 601 20th anniversary. That's a really good cigar. You know what I mean? Oh, you're welcome, brother. You know, I wanted to come by and see you. I know being in the hospital by yourself fucking sucks. And I work out in Lee Summit, and I was like, yeah, I got to go by and see my brother of the Leaf and just make sure he's doing okay and everything. That foot good and toasty. Damn, that's good. This thing is such a flavor bomb, I tell you what. It's hard to beat a Opus, man. Opuses they're some of the best, and I love that, Dominican tobacco, man. That shit's fucking great. You're feeling better. Yeah, you were saying you had to go back on the 9th. But hopefully you can get through all that shit, and everything's good. Still got the stent. Oh, they got to take it out. Okay. They're just going to call you back and well, I've invited you to come over to the Death Star and smoke with me. And, fuck, bro, I've got over 100 fucking Opus X's. So you ain't got to worry too much about finding some. I can hook a brother up. That ain't no problem, man. And, you come over and with the exception of the one Dubai that I have that Cassie gave me, fuck you, I'll let you smoke any of the Opuses that I've got in my humidor. You can, pull a couple of them out and taste them up, But I mean, I know where there's some, there's still some lost cities out there to be had here in town, and I can get more of the 20th, the Father and Sons that just came out. I can get more of those, and when you're ready and you can smoke again and everything, I'll have you over and we'll hang out and smoke, here at the Death Star. That'd be great. Pull out some Opuses and just make a night of it, for sure. And like I said, I don't, I'll share, your situation with everybody if that's okay with you. But Daniel's got spina bifida, and he's got to have wheelchair access to get in and out of places. And my house setup, Daniel, is you can pull right down, and I got a rear entry garage that you can drive right down into and park, and then just open up the garage door, and the Death Star is right there on that level. So, you can get right in and get you comfy, and, it'll be no problem, be nice and comfy. And I look forward to it. When we got to smoke, I met Daniel at that La Aurora event at the Cigar Room, and we got to talking, and just really great guy, and loves his cigars, and he picked up a shit ton of the La Auroras that night when I did, and we had a good time, man. It was really cool talking with him, and we got to do our thing. It was fun. Well, that's fine. In fact, brother, like I work for, a company that runs group homes and ISLs, and I've got access to vans at work. I mean, I can borrow a work van anytime and come pick you up and bring you over and take you back home. You don't even have to ask anybody. I can handle transportation for you. And my boss would be totally cool with that. She doesn't ever, I got to drive a lot of those vans and stuff to keep them up and get them worked on and that kind of stuff anyway. So that's not going to be an issue whatsoever, buddy. Of the La Auroras. Yeah, you bought a shit ton of them now. Dude, I think he spent like $500 fucking on the La Aurora shit. But there was such, there was a lot, like I said, there was those vintage Puros that Enrique was talking about, and some of those short batch 006s, the little twisty shaggy foot ones, and there was a lot of good stuff to be had that night. And Daniel and I both went in big and really loaded up on some shit. It was great. And I've gotten more into smoking some of the La Aurora stuff. When I first started smoking, they were just too strong for me. A lot of their blends are really powerful, and I wasn't really into them. But now that I've a couple years into it and developed my palate really well, La Aurora's got some really, really good stuff. Yeah, those small batches are cool as shit. In fact, I think I sent Marvin one. I sent Rise and Grind one of those small 006 small batches for him to try, because those are like 2011. You know what I mean? Those were old. Cassie be hanging on to some shit, and she knows when to put stuff out. You know what I'm saying? She really, really does. Yeah. Yeah, you got to try some of them. That La Aurora 120th, that's a good cigar. That La Aurora Cameroon is a good cigar. I like smoking those. That's really decent, and it's a pretty affordable stick, for sure. Man, and nothing like a freaking Fuente ash. You know what I mean? And just look at the burn and the ash on them opuses, man. Shit. So Wigwag's asking, anyone here try anything from the Lure cigars? Now, I have not. I've seen them. None of my locals carry them that I know of, so I would have to order some. But I've definitely heard really good things about them, and they got quite a few different blends and shit. And as a fisherman, I should have some of those in my humidor, you know what I'm saying, for sure. But she does not. She doesn't do any direct, she just sells out of her store. She doesn't do any mail order stuff at all. But, I mean, she's always got goodies, and, like she did that she did that Fuente drop here for Father's Day. And Jesus, man, let me see if I can find some of the shit that she put out on that. That was fucking insane. That's where I got that crazy Fuente haul. Let's see if it shows. Maybe I put that in my cigar one already. And she just holds back stuff, you know, for that yearly release, her Father's Day sale, and she lets her club members get first pick, and then like I got to get in on it and get some, and you know, I was, you know, here's the haul that I got from her on that drop, you know. So I picked up a bunch of Opus and Fuente stuff, you know, some Añejos and some Don Carlos Sharks and, you know, just a ton of goodies that she put out just a massive, massive drop. I'm trying to find that damn picture. I might have put it in my cigar album. Really been trying to work on getting yeah, so look at this, man. No, that was the Crux shit. That's not the Fuente stuff. I know I got that picture somewhere. But anyway, she man, you know, she had Rare Pink, she had just all kinds of shit, you know. She had some of these magistrals, she had some of the 25th anniversaries, the 20th anniversaries, you know, Añejos and Don Carlos Sharks and you know, just a ton of goodies, you know. Yeah, this is a good release. You know, in fact, I'm glad I got a box of these because I've really been smoking them up a bunch. In fact, I smoked when I went down and go visit Mr. Cash, and I got these. I got one of these, and we smoked. I think we smoked one of those, and then I brought him like a Oro Oscuro Toro, you know, and we got to check that out. Just ordered the Wahoo. UPS lost a pack. Oh no, man. Yeah, you know, like I was saying, you know, you be shipping shit out this time of year. You really got to let them sit and let them acclimate. You know, they be getting in these hot trucks and hot warehouses and sitting there, you know, especially if they lose them, you know, they're sitting in a freaking convection oven for a week. You know, that ain't good for them, you know. In fact, a lot of times I don't even like ordering shit or shipping stuff this time of year for that very reason. But you know, if you take your time and just be patient and not have to light them up the minute that you get them, they're fine. You know. Oh, that would be cool, dude. I would appreciate that. You know, because I know none of my locals carry them that I've seen, and I've been to just about every damn shop here in Kansas City. So we'll just have to kind of see. But yeah, man, I would welcome that, you know, and you know, smoke one of them on here and share it with you guys and see what they're all about. I've heard good things about Lure, and I would imagine, you know, with all the different blends and stuff that they've got, they got to have something that I would like for sure. Oh man. Smoking pipes, right on. Yeah, I've got a couple pipes and some pipe tobacco that I kind of got into for a little bit. Got me a really nice little Salvinelli and a Patterson. In fact, let me grab my pipes real quick. I'll show you what I bought. Of course, I didn't know if I was going to like smoking pipes at all. And, you know, I live in Missouri, so the factory's right, you know, maybe an hour and a half drive from me. So, you know, the old Missouri fucking Meerschaum fucking corncob pipes, got those. And then the first nice pipe that I bought was this freaking Salvinelli. Got a big old fucking bowl on it and just beautiful color and got a really, really neat stem on it and shit. If you can, yeah, just a pretty pipe. So I got that one, and then I got this Peterson, you know, kind of a neat little design and just a good smoking pipe. I do more of my like you know, Virginias and English blends in this, and then this one I smoke more like, you know, the aromatic shit out of this one because it's got that big ass bowl. But that's kind of, it's almost kind of been like a winter thing for me, you know what I mean? But I've got some you know, got some decent tobaccos anyway that I really like. I like a lot of that Cornell and Deal small batch shit, like that Navy cask. That was a good tobacco. I really liked it. Right on. Yeah, there's a lot of fishermen in Missouri for sure. You know what I mean? Thank you, Guns. Wow. So you're really into it, Wigwag. Damn. Thank you. Yeah, I really like them. You know, it was one of those deals where it's like, fuck it. You know, if I'm going to get into it, I want something nice that's going to last me. You know, just take care of it and you know, do it up for sure. Dark Fire Kentucky blends, right on. Yeah, I'm not real up on my education as far as the different, because there's, you know, there's so many different pipe tobaccos and different tastes and regions and shit like that. I mean, that's a whole nother fucking rabbit hole. You know what I mean? But you know, it is kind of nice sometimes when I don't have time to sit down and smoke a cigar in the morning. You know, I'll load up a bowl and, you know, make a pour over and sit there and, you know, I can smoke a half a bowl or whatever, you know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes and get a little bit of smoking in with a coffee and then go start my day. Oh, right on. So you're going to start rolling cigars, dude? Going to try that out? You'd like, you know, jump off the deep end and buy all the knives and all the shit and everything that you got to have and all that shit. Yeah, for sure. You know, because they're cheap. I mean, they're like, you know, 15, 16 bucks and they got all different shapes, all different sizes. In fact, probably this fall, they have a big festival down there at the factory. And I'll probably go to that Missouri Meerschaum Festival and tour the factory, and I'll shoot a video of that while I'm there. That'll be kind of cool. Yeah, that's what my dad and my uncle smoked for years, was like that Captain Black, you know. Um, just it would just come in a pouch, you know, and they would smoke it up. Yeah, see now that that was my deal too, because you know Brenda, she doesn't really like the cigar smoke. She doesn't like the smell of cigars, but her father and her grandfather both smoked pipe, so it's kind of that memory lane kind of thing, and you know, and she does like the smell of the more aromatic stuff, and it doesn't bother her near as much. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, and I got and my shop right down the street. Hell, I can go, you know, pick them up, and sometimes they'll have like a buy two get one free deal on those corn cobs. And I kind of bought those for some of the stronger aromatic tobaccos, just like so it wasn't like whatever they call it, where it like you know flavors up the pipe, and you know some of your other tobaccos taste like you know your fucking vanilla custard or whatever, you know what I mean? And so I thought, yeah, I mean you could smoke some of those in those, and it wouldn't be, you know, it wouldn't be a fucking $300 pipe, you know. I think that's like that Salvanelli. That some bitch was like $360 for that. You know, it's Italian made or whatever, but it was just so gorgeous. I had to have it, you know. Yeah, thank you. Ghosting. Yeah, so it's like those aromatic blends of tobacco will ghost your pipe, and like you smoke other tobaccos in it, and it tastes like the shit that you've already smoked in it. So yeah, those corn cobs are really really good for that. Donut says you got Missouri Cobb. Yeah. I don't know too many, and unless your wife's smoking cigars with you, I don't know too many people that that their wives enjoy being around the cigar smoke. You know, isn't that pretty? Look at that. Good Lord. But luckily down here in the Death Star, man, I got, you know, plenty of filtration, plenty of venting. You know, got some smelly good shit down here. You know, she can smell it up in the bedroom just a tiny little bit, especially like if I, like now it's so fucking hot, I can't turn the AC off. But a lot of times when I'm smoking cigars down here, because the furnace is down here, I'll just shut it off so it's not pumping that shit out through the rest of the house, and that really helps, you know, quite a bit with you know masking the smell and not letting it fucking you know go through the rest of the house. Shit, I just tried to knock that ash off, and it's just holding on for dear life. But yeah, I'll probably get into that a little bit more. Like I said, this winter I'll definitely probably you know, light me up a fire in the fireplace and get the old pipe out and, you know, watch some old home movies and shit, you know. I got a ton of stuff from when I was a kid, you know, just a ton. Had all of our, you know, had all of our old home movies, um, you know, converted over to digital. You know, so I've got like shit from when I was a little kid, you know, little baby actually, you know, running around and doing shit. And it's so cool. I thank God that, you know, my dad was into cameras and had access to all that equipment and film, and my grandpa had film cameras and all that kind of stuff, you know, to be able to shoot home movies, you know, you know, back when a lot of people didn't have that, and a lot of people don't have those kind of memories from when they were younger. You know what I mean? I got shit. Let me see if I can find something here. Maybe not. Yeah, I'll have to do some digging, but I'll maybe on one of my other shows I'll pull some of those old home movies out and show you what young Fogey looked like when he was a little whippersnapper. You know, that's what my grandpa, one of my grandpas used to call you, little whippersnapper. You know, right on. Yeah, that's you know, I love having the Death Star. You know, like I said, I've been married for over 30 years, and you know, first time I've actually been able to smoke in the house, and it's so nice to have a nice, comfortable space set up and everything. And you know, now that I'm expanding and I've got, you know, my own studio down here now to shoot in and do my lives, and you know, just actually you know, have more storage for cigars and stuff, you know. Enrique says, I smoke outside, so I have to deal with, oh, dude. Yeah. And I don't know about down there in Florida, man, but the mosquitoes have been really bad here this year. In fact, I'm kind of pissed off at one of my neighbors because he inherited his house when his dad died. My neighbor, Mike, who passed away a couple years ago. And dude, he's let the backyard of this house just go bad. I mean, dude, it's like fucking Viet Cong jungle back there. Just fucking saplings and overgrowth, and it's just a fucking mosquito haven. And it's like I can't go out in my backyard without buttering up with some DEET because them little baby motherfuckers just, they love my diabetic sweet blood, I guess. I don't know, but they fucking chew the shit out of me, man. And I can't even go out in my own backyard, you know, because I got the fucking Viet Cong next door, you know. And he's never home, and I try to talk to him, and I want to talk to him about doing something about it. And, you know, and it's not like, I'm not one of those guys that's just going to, like, be a douche and call the fucking city on him and be like, hey, my neighbor needs to clean up his yard and shit. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, that's some boy shit that he and I just need to actually have a conversation about one day and be like, look, man, you know what I mean? You need to do something about your fucking jungle out back because I'm getting eaten alive with the fucking mosquitoes, you know. And I've even got a couple of those old bug zappers, you know, the old style that you can hear them fucking sizzling, you know, you cook bacon on them and shit or whatever, you know. But yeah, man, mosquitoes have been really, really bad. It's going to be outside, putting some heaters out there and a fire pit. Right on. Yeah, I mean, that would be perfect, you know. I mean, as long as you can stay warm, you know, that's one of the shitty things about having to go and smoke outside in the wintertime. I mean, you're freezing to death. You got to bundle up, and you know, and your cigars cracking out and doing all that shit, and you know, it fucking sucks, you know. I mostly smoke outside tonight. Last one inside. Freaking hot. Yeah, Guns. It's hot here too, brother. I'll tell you what, summer has a rove. You know, like I said, we've been in heat indexes all fucking week, and it's really sucked. But I'm inside smoking. It's a blistery 71 degrees in here. I try to keep the Death Star at about 70, 72. You know, because temperature directly affects RH, you know what I mean? And that seems to be about the sweet spot. You know, if I got my 65 Bovida packs and everything, and it's about 70 degrees in here, everything stays right at about, the cases stay at about 65, 67, and then the cigars inside, they're testing out between 62 and 65, which that's my go-to. I like smoking a little bit drier cigars, you know what I mean? You got fans. Oh, I bet, dude. Being down there and hearing all the birds and all that. Hopefully, you ain't got any fucking gators coming up in your yard down there in Florida, man. Fuck. Yeah. Yeah, and it makes it to where you're not smoking as much. You're just not. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to get out. You don't want to fucking deal with all that shit. I don't. But, like I'm smoking 3 cigars in here tonight. I know tomorrow I'm going to have to move some more air through this room and really air it out good and clear it out. But luckily, nobody else comes down here but me. Unless Brandon's having a poker party with his buddies, and he usually does that on Sundays, maybe once or twice a month, so it's not too bad, Wow. 68. Yeah. Keep it cool. I think I keep my thermostat set on about 73, 74, and my house is always nice and comfy when I come home, from a hot ass day, being out in the shit, and come home and have that AC knock you down and go like, oh yeah. Not in your yard, huh? Well, that's good. Don't want to end up like Chubbs and shit, Damn, alligator bit my hand off. Oh, fuck. Some mandibles. Yeah, they just like mount up in the corners, and, some of them even oscillate and stuff. For sure. Just keep that air moving around, keep you cool. If you got shade, and of course, if you're going to screen it in and you got some fans, I mean, it's going to make it way more tolerable for you, donuts, for sure. You don't mind getting out there and smoking, 3-4 times a week. Right on, Enrique. Well, glad you could come tonight, brother. As always, had a great time. Hopefully you get your sticks that I sent you here. Should be first of next week if you haven't got them yet. I haven't checked the tracking number or anything, but you should be getting them, and just enjoy and have a great 4th. Spend some good time with your family. Smoke some good sticks tomorrow, and just thanks for coming, brother. Glad you could make it and join us tonight. Happy 4th of July, my man. Appreciate you. Well, shit, you almost can't afford to keep it cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. Good night, brother. We got us a great little group here, guys. I really appreciate this core group of people that we got coming in here on Friday nights. It's been really, really good. They come on Monday, right on. Yep. There's some goodies in there, man. You're gonna enjoy them. You got that fucking, you got that Opus 25th anniversary, and there's a couple other good stogies in there, and I think you're going to like them for sure. So, well, cool, man. And setting those up is always fun. You know what I mean? Designing it and having ideas and working through some of the, the problems that you always come up with projects like that, and making it your own, and, just kind of adjusting and changing stuff till you finally get it exactly the way that you want it. And it is really nice. I tell you what, I'm truly blessed to have this, Death Star that I've got and be able to enjoy it all the time and do the things that I get to do in here. And, I've got my stereo and I got my TV and I got poker table and chessboard and just about anything that I really want. Makes it nice. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, mine's got to be in the, 'cause I've got so much damn blown in insulation in this fucking house that it makes heat. In fact, if it's 50 degrees outside, my air kicks on. You know what I mean? It just gets fucking hot. This fucking house just makes heat, which makes for some great gas bills in the wintertime, because fuck, before I put all that insulation in there, I was having some winters where, the brutal months, I had like fucking $400 plus gas bills. It was fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Wag's got his space, got a spare room converted into your lounge last winter. It was quite the investment. Yeah, it is, but so is all your fucking cigars too. You know what I mean? And being able to have a space like that you can enjoy and smoke your cigars. And you go, no matter what you do, you're out working. You know what I mean? No matter what your fucking job is, whether you're working inside, you're working outside, when you want to come home and you want to smoke your cigars and you want to chill out, being able to really relax and really be comfortable where you're at and actually focus on enjoying the stogie that you're smoking and whatever, it's well worth the expense. It really is. And hopefully you only got to do it once and then it's just kind of a work in progress and you keep adding stuff to it and making it better and redoing it and revisiting it. It becomes, your baby, a lot of fun doing it, Yeah, that's cool. I always worried that if I worked from home, I would fucking get fired. It's like, you really have to have some fucking self-discipline to work from home, don't you? You know what I mean? To like, make yourself actually do your job and whatever. But man, it would be nice to, wake up and clock in from your home office or your laptop in your easy chair or whatever. You know what I mean? That would, at my age and the kind of shit that I'm doing now, I would almost welcome a work from home job if I could make a decent wage and not have to, and you're not fucking buying all that petrol for your fucking car and putting all those miles on your car and having to dick with traffic every day and just all the bullshit that goes along with all that. It's just fucking crazy, Oh, no shit. Like your phone was like giving you one of those heat warnings and shit. Like it was like, fuck you. That's crazy, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Them phones don't like that heat. That's for damn sure. In fact, some of the new cars and shit even have like little reminders, like, hey, don't leave your phone in there. Or like, hey, is there somebody in the back? Don't leave your kid in there while you're running into Walmart. It's like some of these new cars and shit will even like remind you to grab your phone or grab your fucking kids, Yeah. Well, cause you got to get the work done, and once you get into that mode and you know what you got to do every day, it's still work. It's still a job. You still got to do your shit to earn your paycheck. I mean, that's a given for sure. Added 2 hours to your day. Yeah. Well, yeah. you know, depending on how long your commute is and, you know, what city you're in with all the bump. I can imagine the fucking traffic in Miami commuting. Oh my God, dude. That's insane. Yeah, you know, they just had a deal on the news where, you know, somebody, well, one of them, they prosecuted the guy. It was intentional. I guess he fucking, you know, was on the outs with his wife and he didn't want this kid. And he came up with this bullshit story about, you know, forgetting to drop the kid off at school or forgetting to drop him off at daycare or something. And then they had another deal where that actually happened, where the guy actually did really forget that the kid was in the car. He got busy or whatever and thought he dropped him off at school or dropped him off at daycare, and he didn't. And, you know, ended up, the kid ended up fucking dying. It was like, oh my God, man. You know, I just don't get that. You know what I mean? As much as I love my kid, you know, I'll be making damn sure that, you know, that they were not left in a fucking hot car, for crying out loud. Your space is going to be underneath your deck. Right on. That's cool. Make it a bit cooler. Yeah. And donuts, you know, they've got like those under deck, like gutter systems and shit where you can put those in there. And like, even if it rains and shit, it keeps all that water off of you. And, you know, you can go out there and you got a nice dry space to enjoy and everything. That's a pretty cool setup. And hell, you know, the framework and everything's already built because you already got the deck. So that saves you on a shit ton of expense or whatever. You know, you don't have to go buy a fucking tough shed and convert it or, you know, whatever. So that's cool. Wow. That's just so fucking wrong on so many levels. Yeah, like doing like a shed, you know. I've seen a lot of guys, you know, put in a tough shed and just make that their smoking space, and it's, you know, away from the house, and, you know, you can put big ass fans in them and do whatever, and that's your spot, and it is what it is, and it's as smoky as it is, and it smells like whatever you want it to fucking smell like. So, you know, but the decks thing sounds pretty cool, and it sounds, you know, especially if you're wanting to keep it open and screen it all in and everything, man, that'll save you a shitload of money for sure. Yeah. Yeah, you can get those like little portables. In fact, dude, you know, when we were still tent camping, I'd put one of those little sumbitches in our tent, you know, so it was cold and, you know, we could actually sleep at night and weren't fucking burning up and shit, you know, for sure. Yeah. Gotta have more money for those cigars. You know what I mean? You gotta get a couple boxes of lures and shit, you know. You can't be spending all that money on lumber, for crying out loud. That's just not feasible. I do want to get a little bit more ventilation in here. And I've got a smoke eater, you know, it's one of those Jafonda 888s, and it's like Wi-Fi, and like, you know, Alexa can control it, and I can put it on a timer or whatever the fuck, and it does pretty good about eating smoke and stuff, especially if I'm sitting right next to it and got my cigar in the ashtray and it's right there, and it just sucks a lot of the smoke into it. But this new my studio doesn't have the ventilation that I want in it, and I'm designing a you know, a duct system to pipe a lot of this shit out, you know, to help with it, because you just got to move a lot of air. You know, you got to replace air. You got to replace air. That's one of the hugest things about building an indoor space. You know. Yeah, materials are a motherfucker. Any little thing, little brackets and little, hell, boxes of screws will make you go bankrupt. And lumber's so expensive and everything's so expensive. And then once you get it all built, then you gotta come up with chairs, and you gotta come up with tables, and you gotta, do the fans, and you gotta do, it's, it ain't cheap building a smoking space. That's for sure. But as much as we love doing this, and as hard as we work for a living, it's well worth the time and expense. You know what I mean? For sure. I'm glad I did it. I'd do it again, But yeah, once you get that going, man, you'll have to, send me some pictures and stuff, and I can kind of, I can share them with everybody, and show everybody what you got going on, and you can kind of share the journey with us. That'd be cool. I'd like to see what you got going on and see how it progresses. That's always fun when, when a plan comes together. I love it when a plan comes together. Well, and the other thing too, if you're outside, you don't have to run that far to the grill. If you got some shit going or cooking or smoking or whatever, you can just pop up and go check on your food and come right back down and whatever, At the portable air conditioners. Yeah, for sure. Ollie's, is that like a local big box store or something like that, or a hardware store or something like that? Kind of like a Lowe's or a Depot or something, just like a local company. Yeah, you can just email me the pictures and stuff, and I'll post them up as you go. That'll be cool. And that's another good thing. It's like you guys, and I wish they would do that. I wish that they would, in these chats, that they would, progress to the point where, you could put pictures up and shit. You know what I mean? You could post pictures and not just chats. You could put a little picture or a little video or something like that. I mean, that would make it so much more interesting for everybody, for sure. Okay, right on. Yeah, so we got a joint like that here. It's not called Ollie's. It's called Cargo Largo. And they got a huge distributor warehouse up here. And, man, you can always run up there and find all kinds of shit for super cheap, for sure. Yeah, Wigwag, it's the same way with these. It's, they're always getting, overstocks and all kinds of stuff, and it's always new. So it's not like, you go in and the store's exactly the same. It's like you're kind of hunting stuff and get those cool buys and that stuff that it's like, well, I wasn't going to buy this, but fuck, Ollie's has got it for fucking super cheap. I guess I'll go ahead and get me one. That's cool. Yeah, I've never even heard of those. We don't have any of those in this part of the country at all. So it's definitely got to be some kind of a local deal. Model kits, right on. Speaking of that, I've got a model kit that I need to build. I haven't done it. It's the and I've had this fucking model since I was a kid. I never built it. It's the fucking original fucking USS Enterprise model, and it's still in the box. Everything's there, and I need to Need to take some time. Maybe this winter that'd be a good thing to sit down here and put something over the poker table and fucking and build that model while I'm smoking some stogies and shit. That's actually sounds like fun. I used to love building models, you know, especially once I went from the snap tights to the actual glue together shit. You know what I mean? You get all the testers glue and paint and everything and customizing it and just making it badass, you know. Yeah, Harbor Freight's got some good stuff too, you know. I mean, definitely some stuff that you can use. You know, it may not last you a lifetime, but you know, hell, you can buy 2 or 3 of them for what something else might cost. You know what I mean? Huh. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I love building models. You know, old like custom like vans. You know, like you know, the vans that had like the big eyes on the hood and you trick them all out, you know, or you know, the old classic cars or, you know, airplane models. I used to love to build airplane models and actually had some cool Star Wars models when I was a kid. I built a really cool X-Wing model one time. God, it took me months. It took me months to get that thing the way that I wanted it, but I was really careful with it. Didn't let no glue run or any of that kind of shit. You know, it was pretty great. I wish I still had that. Some of those models that I built when I was a kid, you know, and the decals, you know, you'd get them all wet and they'd be like on that film and you'd like have to slide them off and then position them right where you want them and shit and smooth all the bubbles out so they would dry and look right, you know, you could fuck them up real quick, you know, for sure. Man, glad I lit up this Opus tonight, man. I'm gonna have me another one of these tomorrow for sure for my red, white, and blue. But I'm really, really looking forward to trying this fucking Fuente Legends. You know, I wasn't gonna get one of these, but I got one of each. I got the Padron and the Fuente one, but I'm gonna smoke that one tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be as good as I hope it is. Is it, you know, $150 good? Probably not, but you know, at least I can say I had one and I tried it. You know, been there and done that. Yeah, all their shit, you know. Yeah, what are those? I think those are called Apaches. You know what I mean? Those are, you know, and they, you know, all my shit's all Pelican, but that's because what I bought to put all my camera equipment in. But I've used up all those, and those Apaches, you know, they're airtight. You know, I'd rather have one of those than a Tupperware for sure. You know, right on. That's cool. How many sticks you get in that thing, Guns? Yeah, as long as you can keep it airtight, you know, that's uh that's a huge part of it. You know, it's funny. Um, you know, and some of them travel humidors and shit, they're super fucking expensive, you know. If you can just make one, get you one of those little Bovida holders that's the cedar. You know, that's what I do for my Pelicans is I just get those cedar Bovida holders and put those in there. And that, you know, I don't have to have a tray and season all that shit and do all that shit. I can just put one of them Bovida holder things in there and it keeps that cedar smell in there and everything. And you open it up and it smells really good, you know. Really be digging on those for sure. Oh man, been a week. Going to be a nice long weekend. And I'm going to take some vacation. My partner that I work with, I think he's camping out at Jacomo, that lake right over here that I was showing you, that I go fishing at. He's got Monday off this week, and then I guess he's going camping in Topeka. So he's got like Friday and then the following Monday and Tuesday off that next week. So I can't take off. But I think that following week, I think I've got a week's worth of PTO saved up. I think I'm going to take a whole week off. And then that way I'll have 2 weekends to piggyback on that. So I'll get like 9 days off, So I'll get to do some shit here at the house, get some mama stuff done, do some stuff in the studio, do some cigar content, get all that shit rolling, and, actually have some days to just chill and not have work on my mind and shit, As busy as I've been so far this year, I need a fucking break. I really need one bad. I'm starting to get a little gorked out on work shit, Yeah, the boxes and sticks. Oh, right on. Yeah. Hey, we're cigar smokers. We all have the hoarding gene, brother. You know what I mean? You can never have enough. That's for damn sure. The Spanish cedar sheets. Okay, I've seen those. In 65 packs. Yeah, that's the way we like to do it too, man. Hey guys, it's Hawkeye. It's Ray Cigar Lounge cohort. Hawkeye, what's up, brother? Glad you could make it. I seen you guys had your show tonight with Ben Smoking. How'd that go, Hawkeye? Did you guys have a good show? I figured with the holiday being tomorrow that Ray wouldn't do his thing on Saturday, but I'm glad you could make it, brother. Welcome. All right, y'alls. Man, good to see you, brother. Happy 4th to you. Glad you could make it in. And, just be safe, have fun, smoke a lot of good sticks, man. It's good to see you, man. We'll catch you next week. Peace out, brother. Yeah, I love Ray. Ray's a good guy. We talk a lot, and I consider him a friend. I talk to him on the phone and shit, and we share stuff. And I've sent him some sticks and done some shit, and he's got a good thing going on. He really gets some great guests on his show, and I'm really happy to see the success that him and Hawkeye have built together on that program. Oh, no shit. That sucks. Was it like an internet thing, Hawkeye, or did he just, phone die on him or what? Yeah, I seen that thing too. I was like, because I didn't get to watch that show until afterwards, and I was asking Ray about that. I was like, yeah, what? Hawkeye gonna be a daddy? What the fuck, man? Wigwag. So it's called Ray's Cigar Lounge, and he's usually on Saturday nights at about 9:00, and I'll go over there and hang out with him quite a bit. It's always a good time, and he just keeps it real. And him and Hawkeye got a tent out in the back of Ray's house, and come rain or shine, hell, it'd be a fucking hurricane coming through or whatever, or monsoon, and they're out there, and you can hear the rain hitting the tent, but they're out there doing their shit and smoking, and it's always great conversation. And if you haven't got a chance to check out Ray's Cigar Lounge, please do so, because Ray and Hawkeye are some great guys, and we have a lot of fun going in there and do their thing with them. Yeah, he's a good guy, dude. I'm telling you, for sure. Internet thing. Well, that sucks. That sucks. Yeah, Ben's a cool guy. I like Ben. I've talked with him a lot, and when he first started, I guess Ben's been like growing his own tobacco and starting to get into like curing tobacco and actually rolling his own tobacco, and very, very interesting guy. Well, good. Thank you for that. Yeah, Ray just broke 500 subs a couple weeks ago. Something he's really been working hard to get, and now he just needs to get his watch hours up so he can monetize. But he's got a lot of really good content. He puts some shorts out and this and that and another. But like I said, his thing lately with his live streams has been he's getting some really good guests on his show, and in fact, I hope to have him on here as a guest at one time for mine. Hey, Ray, happy 4th, brother. Wasn't able to miss your show because I was doing mine. I wasn't able to make it, but I'll watch the replay, and I'm sure it was a great show. Yeah, I don't know that fuck, I ain't even growing tomatoes for my fucking BLTs. You know what I mean? I don't know if I could get into growing tobacco and doing all that kind of shit. Yeah, right on. Yeah, I've really been just trying to invite everybody to subscribe to his channel and support him. He's such a great guy, and good cigar content, good conversation. It's another great place just to go fucking hang out and do this same kind of shit with cool ass people. Well, of course, like to see your face though, dude. Fuck. You know what I mean? You're always in the background and I can hear you, but bust open a laptop and actually get on camera with us. That would be fucking great. You know what I mean? Hey, brother, thanks for coming in, man. And I like the new logo. Came out really good, and I know how that shit is. It's a work in progress till you find the one that you actually like. But I think this one that you just closed the door on, I think this one's better, and I really like it. For sure. Yeah, because we keep talking about it. We keep talking about getting Hawkeye on camera. And that would be good to put a face with the name and the voice. For sure. Okay, man, we're gonna hold you to that, dude. If you don't get on camera, I'm gonna have Ray come over there and thump you on the nutsack. Oh shit. What have you guys been smoking on tonight, man? So we've been kind of doing the the 4th of July thing. I had EP Carrillo, the Pledge of Allegiance, and then I smoked that CAO American 250th, and then right now I'm smoking an Opus the Forbidden Magistral 13. And I was showing everybody else because this was actually going to be one of my cigars for tomorrow, but I've got another one, so I'm doing a red, white, and blue. So this one's got like a fucking red footband on it that this one came with. So I'm doing a red cigar, and my white cigar is going to be the Fuente Legends, the Padron, E Fuente Padron one. And then my blue cigar is going to be Opus Society. So I have my red, white, and blue cigars picked out for tomorrow. Right on. Oliva, Connecticut. The Series G or the O? Man, Oliva makes some really good cigars too. I just picked up from one of my locals. They had some of the. It's the Melanio. It's a 2023 release, and it's like a little Figurado. I got a couple of those that they broke out. I'm really looking forward to trying that. The O, okay. Yeah, that's a great breakfast cigar. I really like smoking those, and they're very affordable too, for sure. Bobby says he got off work, drove home, lit up an Exteli from Karen Berger. Right on. Sweet. Yeah, I need to try some of her stuff too. I know Marvin really likes hers, and he's gotten some of those Karen burgers. I want to get some of those and try them out. I'm sure they're delicious. Yeah, it's hard to go wrong, with a good Oliva. Consistency, you know what I mean? That's another one of those fucking quarter pounder with cheese cigars. You get it, it tastes the same, it smokes the same, it's rolled the same. Consistency in cigars is worth a lot. It really is. Yeah. I like the G's too. A little bit deeper, complex flavor, and they got some good Vitolos in those G's too. But I really kind of like the that Churchill or double Corona or whatever it is, that big sumbitch. I really like those. Those are good for sure. So you guys got any big plans for the 4th tomorrow? You guys cooking out and hanging out together, or you guys got separate shit going on, or what's up? Yeah, me too. Yeah, Bobby, I'm with you on that. That's my favorite. The Melanio Maduro. I've really been into Maduro cigars lately. In fact, since I've got them, I've been smoking the crap out of those fucking Chief of the Leaf Maduros. That's a really tasty cigar. Did you get a chance to try any of those, Bobby, or no? Because if you didn't, now that I've got your address lined out, I'll throw one of each of those Chief of the Leafs in there and let you try those out. Those are really, really good. Especially for the price. Jesus, they're fucking amazing cigars. Really good. Smoke really well. I haven't had any construction issues, anything, and they taste really good. Ray's father-in-law just put in a diving. Ooh, sweet. Right on. That's cool. Yeah, 4th of July and swimming pools, that's a hell of a great combination, isn't it? It's almost like you wish you had one, or you wish you were hanging out with somebody that had a fucking pool, for sure. Okay, Bobby. Well, that's cool. Yeah, what'd you think? I mean, I really liked them. I thought they were good, and I've had some cigars that are a lot more expensive than those that I didn't like as well as those as either, you know. And Chief's a pretty cool guy, you know, he really is. You know, I love the fact that all the years of service that he put in with the Air Force and everything that he's done there. And, you know, now that he's retired and, you know, has this cigar journey that he's on and doing his own thing with the cigars, I respect that a lot. You know, Ken is a really cool dude, you know. Yeah, I'm not doing much, just cooking up a tri-tip and some bacon wrapped asparagus and some peaches and cream corn, and I'm going to make some homemade yeast rolls tomorrow and just hang out and watch my neighbors blow up about fucking $2,000 worth of fireworks and shit and sit back and smoke my cigars on my front porch. Not be doing much of shit tomorrow. Looking forward to enjoying some time off for real. It'll be good. But I got to get some more stuff done in this room. I got my so you know I use the green screen. I love it. You know, I've got all the different you know, backgrounds and shit, and I like coming up with the cool backgrounds because it looks good. You know what I mean? It's good, and it's, you know, not a lot of people are doing it, and I like it because I can, you know, be where the hell I want to be. And so, but I had an actual green screen that you know, I had to hang up, and you know, when all the other shit was in the room, it was a pain in the ass to put that thing up and fuck with it, and it really didn't give me the reflection and everything that I wanted to make my backgrounds pop like I wanted them to. So I actually painted a wall green with the special paint and primer and all that shit. So all back behind me, you can't see it right now, but it's just all green, and it's always there. And my desk is set up in front of it, and my lights are set up where they need to be, and my, you know, everything's just here, so I can just pop in and do my shit, you know. So I'm really digging on that. And I got, you know, some other stuff I got to do. Like I said, I got some storage things that are working on, and got my coffee station down, moved it in here, and my little snack bar. I got the cabinet with some snacks and shit in it and whatever. So it's, you know, it's coming along really cool. Like I said, I'll share some video with it when I get a little deeper into doing what I'm doing, and still got a few decisions that I want to make as to how I want some stuff, but it's been a blessing to have, you know, an actual, you know, studio that's set up all the time, and I don't have to fuck with tearing shit up down and moving shit and everything, and the wife coming down here and fucking with my stuff all the time because I got her guest room all tore up, you know what I mean? Right on. Yeah, they really did. You know what I mean? That was the thing that I liked about it the most, Bobby, was just for what he's charging for those cigars. They're really delicious, you know, for sure. Well, yeah, dude, you know, you get your shit set up and either do that, or hell, you can come on my show anytime you want to. And, you know, just get it all set up and be a guest on the show. I would love that. That would be awesome. You know, you could tell some cool fucking stories and, you know, share some of your hard labor and some of your cool shit with us. That would be fucking awesome. Definitely dig that for sure. But you gotta have that time. You gotta have that place. You know, you gotta have something that's yours, you know, and I'm not, you know, I don't play pool, and I don't have a pool table, and I don't, you know, have all that bullshit. but I do love my music, and I got a badass system, and I like being able to just put some tunes on and kick back in my comfy chair and do whatever, and just enjoy some me time. That's the best part about it, is it's your own personal space that nobody's gonna fuck with, and you can just enjoy it and do whatever the hell you want. For sure. Yeah. Well, just let me know when you get her done. And like I said, just as you're doing it, send me some pictures and I'll post them up and we can share it with everybody. The journey and the progression of how you're getting everything done. That'll be cool. But I think once I get through this weekend and get me some fishing in and maybe go play some golf, then I'm going to get really heavy back into doing some content. The live thing's been great, and I like to at least be able to get on and be here every week with you guys and do all that stuff. But I really miss editing some good stuff and doing shit and just having a good time with that. So, once I get to play a little bit on vacation, I'm looking forward to putting out some content again and getting that rolling, towards the end of the year and really I got some great ideas for some stuff that you guys are really going to like, I'm sure. So Bobby's starting demolition of a bedroom to make a small smoking room and a closet humidor. Right on. Well, the ventilation thing, I actually put, like a hole in the side of the house, kind of like a dryer vent thing that I've got some stuff going on with ventilation. And then I've also got a fireplace upstairs, but the downstairs had a spot for like a potbelly stove. And I was able to put a fan in that so it sucks air out and shoots it right up my chimney. And then, I've got some fans and some duct work up in the ceiling. There's like some fan systems that you can get that'll draw air. But one thing you got to remember, is the pressure thing. You got to have some fresh air intake. That's a huge part of it. Because you're moving a lot of air. Well, you got to have some fresh air coming in. So you got to find a spot where you can, have some fresh air coming in. And especially like now, you don't want to be pulling hot air in and heating your shit up. So you've got to find some spaces in the house that you can draw air out of that's not going to fuck with your air conditioning system. But you're still able to pull fresh air in as you're moving the bad air out. So that's a huge thing. You just kind of got to look and see what you got and put some of that stuff in there. And then of course, get you a good smoke eater. If you can afford one, get you a Rabbit Air. That's going to be my next purchase for my studios. I'm going to get one of those Rabbit Air 3s and put that in here, and that helps a lot. And then just have some smelly goods. I've got like some little Glade pumps, and I've got my Darth Vader Scentsy, and just some smelly good shit that kind of help things stay smelling good. And it doesn't have that stale cigar smell to it. You know what I mean? That's just kind of combination of a lot of things, But the closet humidor, that's something that I've been playing around with, and that's going to be a hell of an expense. You know what I mean? It really, really is. In fact, I really wanted to do that because I always thought it would be cool to have a walk-in humidor. And I've got a closet that I can put it in. But man, you get to looking at the expense of doing that and doing it right. You know what I mean? Putting in, the fucking marine grade fucking drywall and the plastic and the insulation. And then, all of the, decking it all out with the wood and building the shelves. I mean, it's going to add up real quick. And then, your Humidifier is going to be a huge expense. I mean, those are, for a decent one, you're going to spend at least $500 on that. And but I came up with an alternative that when I get done, I'm going to share it with you guys, and it's really kick ass. I mean, it's an idea that I just came up with, and I haven't seen anybody else do it. And but I think once I get it posted up and share everybody what it is and how cool it is and how affordable it is, that I think a lot of people are gonna jump on that bandwagon and do the same thing that I'm doing for a storage deal without having to build an actual room where you got to buy all that lumber and do all that shit. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you guys in the next couple of weeks. And just look on sales. There's always sales on fans and ductwork and all that kind of stuff. But you want at least like a 6-inch, if not an 8-inch ventilation system, so you can really move some air, because that's one of just the biggest parts about it, is just replacing air, and getting the smoky air out and bringing the fresh air in. That's, in fact, if you could do that over like a smoke eater, it's a lot more affordable and it works just as well. But if you can do the combination of the both, then you're set. You don't have any issues. I can come down here just about any time. Even like, I've smoked 3 cigars tonight. I'll come down here tomorrow and you won't even be able to tell. You won't even be able to smell, that smoke or anything. But anyhow, guys, I'm about done with this opus. We're about 3 hours and 45 minutes into the show. It's been another really, really good night, and I've had a great time. And it was good to have old Simon on. Simon, you got any closing fucking thoughts to share with us?
Such a great time hanging out with all of you badasses. I wish you and this great country a happy Fourth, and it is my hope that you get to enjoy.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Yeah, and we can kind of learn some of this stuff together, Bobby. You know what I mean? If I, find something that works better or does something or saves some money, I'm definitely going to do it and definitely going to share it. And I'll be posting some videos of what I'm doing, and, look forward to Donuts and what he's got going on. And, same thing with you. If you're doing some stuff and you want to send me some pictures or something like that, I can post it up and we can all kind of share what we're doing and, get our stuff worked out and kind of go through that journey together. And it's going to be cool. I'm really, really looking forward to it, Bobby, for sure. Hey, you too, Ray, and I appreciate you and Hawkeye coming. Like I said, sorry I wasn't able to make the show tonight, but we'll hook up soon. And we got a great future doing what we're doing together, and you just keep cranking out the good content and the good stuff that you got going on. And man, just really appreciate you, and I'm proud of you, and glad to call you a friend, Ray. You're a great guy and a brother in the leaf for sure. Thanks, my man. Yeah, everybody, be safe out there. Don't want to blow off one of your cigar holding fingers. That would fucking suck. You know what I mean? Yeah, good chat, good one, Guns. Glad to see you tonight, man. And yeah, you're very, very welcome. You guys have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon. So until next time. Thanks for watching the Old Fogey Stogies.